Woo! Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you, and we have a fun show planned. There are so many things in the work, it's hard to keep it all straight. For example, we have a brand new show mascot. It remains nameless. We said we would pick a name prior to the show because we Travis came in, or TD came in with this giant buck that has a punch bowl attached to it.
Well, yeah, I think it was a collective decision that we needed that.
We did
here
need
at the show.
We
yes,
did need it.
Yeah,
we did need it. You sent a picture from the store you were shopping at, and
yes,
you were immediately Venmo'd money.
That is absolutely correct.
So you came in with it, and now we have it, and now it needs a name.
Yeah.
So if you're unfamiliar, go to our most recent post, Big Rich TD Fletch, on our social medias. I guess you don't have to pluralize that word. The point is, you go ahead and put in a name, and well, actually, you know what?
With social medias, seems like it works if you're talking about Instagram and Facebook and TikTok.
Seems like it should.
X.
I mean,
You've got all the social medias.
It seems like that's how it should work, guys.
I'm very tired. I feel a little punch drunk. I have to take a lap already.
No, we can't make Travis.
What?
TD can't take a lap because he's literally limping around, and we're not sure why.
I don't know what I've done.
Maybe I have scurvy.
Maybe I just need some vitamin C.
Yeah.
I was on the roof on Sunday putting up Christmas lights. Yesterday evening, all of a sudden, I'm like, gosh, my leg hurts. Like I had pulled a muscle. This morning, I can't hardly walk.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but so I think you need a doctor is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
or like
luckily
go to the Good Feet store again. We'll figure that out. But what Rich was trying to say is Big Rich TD Fletch, if you want to see our buck and name our buck, head on over to @BigRichTD and Fletch on all the different social media websites.
What I was going to ask, though, is do we want to limit it now and put up a poll somewhere?
Because start narrowing the names.
We do have two really strong contenders that we absolutely adore. From one of our longtime listeners, Bob, he mentioned Buckosaurus Rex having all the sex.
There's a song.
Buckosaurus Rex having all the sex. You get it.
Speaking of Zazosaurus Rex, he texted me the other night.
Well, what did he say? He wants to come in on Thanksgiving and hang out.
No, he was talking about the Aztecs basketball team. But
yeah, Aaron's cool. Aaron's another one of our longtime listeners.
Yeah, he has all the sex.
He does.
And as mentioned, Zazosaurus Rex absolutely has all the sex. That's the reason why nobody else can have any. Just in case you're wondering. So the reality of the situation is we have this punch bowl buck, whatever you want to call it.
I'm putting the poll up right now. What are our two options?
All right, so it's Buckosaurus Rex and then put in parentheses having all the sex.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the next contender is.
How do you spell Buckosaurus?
Well, there's hyphens.
Yeah.
Actually, go to our IG account and you'll see Bob. He weighed in with that comment.
Right.
And then off our text line from loyal listener Jeremy yesterday.
Right.
Buck Norris.
Buck Norris is very strong.
Which, by the way, like if Buck Norris wins, I'm happy with either. But if Buck Norris wins, for the love of God, we need to have Chuck Norris on the show.
1,000,000%. Without a doubt. How could he stiff us?
I don't think he could.
I couldn't remember what the name was. I was like, it's Buck something. Buck Rogers? Wait, is that already a person? Yeah.
Buck Norris.
Buck Norris.
So there's that going on. Then also, there is currently sitting in the front seat of my car a full turkey.
Yes.
There is currently sitting in the back seat of my truck a turkey fryer kit.
Good. Okay. So what we're gonna do, if you haven't already put the pieces together, is we're gonna deep fry a turkey in the parking lot here at iHeart San Diego.
We'll stay live on YouTube after the show. We'll go live on TikTok after the show. So if you want to watch us probably set the building on fire, get on over to those websites.
I forgot to bring a fire extinguisher, but that's not a big deal.
No, I'm sure there's like several here.
There's one on the wall.
Yeah. I guarantee there's somebody here with fire training.
Perfect.
And that is what I'm going to lean all my hope and faith on in case something goes horribly wrong. In case we start a grease fire in the parking lot.
The episode we're doing the parking lot. What could burn?
Yeah,
a car.
Yeah. I mean, the upside is everybody gets turkey either way, because even if you start a fire, that turkey's getting cooked.
True.
So that's the good news. Yeah.
Also, we have like 50 guests on the show.
We do.
It's Friendsgiving.
It's Friendsgiving on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. So what we did, and this was a brilliant idea by our very own Fletch, is we reached out to all of our favorite guests and friends from around the sports media landscape, and many of them are going to join us on the show. We'd give you the full rundown now, but it would take the rest of the segment. So let's just say we're going to have fun surprises along the way.
I like it.
And it'll start with our stepmom. It will start with our stepmom. She will be joining us soon. Lauren Carpenter, FTN Fantasy. She is finally off vacation. She's coming back to the show, and we're really not going to bother with too many fantasy football questions. You know, we're really going to spend it the way you should on Thanksgiving. You know, talking about friendship.
Her birthday is today.
Wow.
What, it is?
Yeah.
So
did
many
we get her anything?
We did not. We got you a giant punch bowl buck.
How do you feel about sponge candy?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We also had Monday Night Football last night.
Yep.
So we saw the Philadelphia Eagles do what the Eagles did, which is beat a team, and very unconvincingly so.
Didn't that entire game, which it's crazy because there was a lot of mistakes made on Kansas City's side, and we can get into them, but didn't the entire game come down to 2 plays? It was Jalen Hurts deep pass to Devontae Smith, which Devontae Smith caught at the 1 yard line, then they tush push, get in, whatever. That's how the Eagles took the lead. And then on the flip side, it was Patrick Mahomes, a deep pass, perfectly thrown to Marquez Valdez-Scantling at the 1 yard line. He drops it.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs lose.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta make plays.
Yeah, I would say that's right. I would say, when Patrick Mahomes sees passes drop like that, you got to be thinking, wish we had Tyreek Hill. I wish he was still here.
Or Justin Jefferson.
Or
name X wide receiver they could have gotten at the trade deadline.
And again, that's where I think that the Chiefs have a hang up. They needed to do something on that wide receiver core before the trade deadline, because I mean, that ball was right in the hands. I guess you could make the argument it was 6 inches too deep. Literally, it was
you
in his
have
hands.
to catch it.
Yeah.
If you're an NFL wide receiver, that is a ball you have to catch.
Yeah, it's a perfectly placed ball. There's no excuses at that level. I mean, you're the best in the world. You know, the reason why you're catching passes from Patrick Mahomes is because you're arguably one of the best, I guess you could say, top 100 players at your position in the whole entire world. Like, nobody's better than you. So when you have a wide open shot, you have 2 steps on a receiver, and it's with the game on the line, you have to make that play. That's the reality of sports. You know, with that, the wind and the rain did not help, which were steady and present throughout the game. Neither passing offense looked well. You have 150 yards thrown from Jalen Hurts. He was intercepted and also sacked 5 times. And Patrick Mahomes only threw for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, though, also threw a pick. But that Chiefs defense in the loss, they looked ravenous. That was quite a performance. And that's going up against one of the best D-line or O-lines, if not the best offensive line in all of the National Football League.
Isn't it strange seeing an Andy Reid-led team having the 2 strongest parts of their team be run game and defense? Like, I don't know if you go back through his career, if he's ever had those 2 things being the leading forces in a team.
Well, he's had good defenses when he was the head coach with the Eagles. That's a little bit before your time, but Donovan McNabb, there were times where he was injured and they really did lean on their defense. Like, look, the point is Andy Reid does a great job delegating responsibility. I don't think he has a ton to do with the defense other than, lending suggestions and things like that, but he's worked
Spags has been there forever.
Talented coordinators, puts a lot of trust in his guys. I mean, that defense, by the way, has not been very good over the course of his time as the head coach of the Chiefs, or over his tenure as the head coach of the Chiefs. And his loyalty to Spagnuolo has led to this system, this culture finally taking effect, and they are playing like their hair is on fire on that side of the ball.
The Eagles improved to 9-1. Did they do anything for you guys to make you think, yep, this is the best team in the league?
No.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And here's why. Like, the Chiefs lost that game. I don't know that the Eagles won that game. The Eagles took advantage of the situation, but 2 red zone turnovers for the Chiefs, the Patrick Mahomes interception, the Travis Kelce fumble. And then that pass to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I mean, the Chiefs had that one 3 separate times in my eyes, and they lost.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts making some plays with his legs. I mean, to me, either of these teams go up against San Francisco right now, and San Francisco rolls on them.
How about Detroit?
Or Detroit, yeah.
I mean, the power rankings are so wonky in this league this year. You look on the NFC side, and you take a look at the Philadelphia Eagles who are in the lead, and you're like, nah. You look on the AFC side, you look at the Chiefs who are in the lead, and you go, nah. Like, it's strange. I mean, last year, it very much so felt like at this point in the season, there was a good deal of separation between, say, the top or the top 2 teams. It's not so much this year. Like, we are hurtling towards a very unknown destination here, and I like it. I mean, I thought very much so that this matchup you saw last night is going to be the rematch of Super Bowl. I said in the preseason, I said the Chiefs are going to win again. And who knows, maybe it ends up panning out being exactly what I just said and forecasted before the season kicked off.
Yeah.
However, you can make an argument for about, I would say at this point, 7 teams have a shot at winning a Super Bowl this year.
So the last time there's been a repeat matchup in the Super Bowl was Troy Aikman against the Buffalo Bills. And how far is that? The 80s? Is that
no,
90s?
That was early 90s.
Early 90s.
92 to 90.
So it's tough to do. It's tough for one team to get back to the Super Bowl over and over again. The Kansas City Chiefs seem to have been doing a pretty good job of doing it. I don't know if they've been back-to-back years. Have they?
No.
So it's tough to do in this league.
Did the Bills go 4 years in a row?
4 years in a row. Didn't win a single one of them. Note that happened right before our show, before we bring on our stepmom. Matt Canada fired as the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh.
Correct.
It's been a long time coming. That got released about 7 minutes before we came on the air this morning.
Yeah, so here's the reality of that situation. You have a first-round draft pick in Kenny Pickett who is playing like a backup. And I don't know whose fault is that, if it's Kenny Pickett's inability to play at this level, the scouting department, maybe Matt Canada didn't have as much of a say in this. Drafting him in the first place, your general manager, or it's Matt Canada. You know, he hasn't been able to develop this guy. But either way, since the end of Ben Roethlisberger's career, which is when Canada got the OC job, and now through 3 other starting quarterbacks, you know, at different times due to injury or just poor play, he's had his hands on a couple of guys now, and it has not panned out at all for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensively. They've been anemic at best. Their defense has been the only reason why they're even in the conversation in the AFC North or in the playoff picture, period.
Yeah. And I mean, it's unfortunate.
Matt Canada.
Yeah, well, it worked. It worked. The people spoke, and it happened. I mean, I guess we see here how this works out. I don't know if Matt Canada is all to blame on what's going on over there on the offensive side of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, look, Kenny Pickett just may not be that good. He may be good enough to win a few, but I still think the Steelers have a viable shot here of having a 10-win season.
Also, quick note before we welcome on our first Friendsgiving guest here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Zach Wilson is now the 3rd string quarterback.
It's about damn time.
In New York.
Yeah.
So
who's going to start?
Tim Boyle.
Oh, boy.
Tim Boyle.
Oh, Boyle.
Career backup behind Aaron Rodgers during his time in Green Bay. Actually signed with the Jets prior to Aaron Rodgers actually being traded to the Jets. Everybody knows why. They were sort of feathering the bed for Aaron Rodgers before he came in trade because he liked working with Tim Boyle in Green Bay. Obviously, Nathaniel Hackett as offensive coordinator was hired prior to his trade as well. And so Tim Boyle in Aaron Rodgers' stead, now in Zach Wilson's stead, will be the starting quarterback for the Jets as they host the Miami Dolphins coming up this weekend at MetLife Stadium. Okay, let's do it. It's Friendsgiving, so we got to have a friend on the show.
Happy birthday to you.
Birthday.
How did you know?
Carpenter, our stepmom. How did we know?
She's wearing a birthday crown, ladies and gentlemen.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The clues were out there. We just put together some of the breadcrumbs. Okay, so you can follow her on Twitter or X at Stepmom Lauren. You could go to stepmomlauren.com. You can follow all of her work with FTM Fantasy. But most importantly, we need updates because you're our travel guru right now.
That's right.
You've been to the Virgin Islands. You've been on a redo of the honeymoon of sorts, an anniversary present to each other with your husband. How was it? How was the trip?
Oh, it was magnificent. I have returned a renewed woman. It was phenomenal. It was kind of scary. We haven't been gone that long for that far since our honeymoon 11 years ago. So it was kind of terrifying, but we did an under the sea trek where we had these big helmets on our head and we walked into the water. That was kind of terrifying, but also awesome. We did a Sufre Jeep safari tour where I got to slather myself in volcanic mud and bathe in a volcanic hot spring.
We're doing that tomorrow.
My skin is like a baby's butt. It's amazing. We took a helicopter. I know. We took a helicopter to the airport instead of the hour and 40-minute like harrowing hairpin turns.
Wow.
That's like, yeah, there's no stoplights nor stop signs in St. Lucia. It was like crazy drivers and roundabouts sprinkled here and there. It was crazy, but yeah, it was an awesome trip. If anyone wants any advice on how to get around St. Lucia, or if you're staying at any of the Sandals resorts, let me know. Holla at your girl. I got all the inside info.
Holla at your girl.
It's so funny.
I know. 1995 called. They want their sand back.
I was just talking to a dear friend last night, came over for the first time since his wedding. He honeymooned in St. Lucia, stayed at a Sandals resort, and did all the things. He was just showing me the pictures last night of all the things. So you're doing it. He's doing it. I told you, like, I need a vacation in the worst way. I think the heavens are telling me to go to St. Lucia.
They're telling you.
Or
God is speaking.
telling
listen.
The show. Maybe we should do a live show for a week at St. Lucia.
Should we honeymoon with the three of us?
Yeah, I think so. I don't even know where St. Lucia is.
It's
down by Venezuela. It is.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
It's far.
Okay. Yeah. That's a trek. Are you all set up for Thanksgiving?
I am. I am all set up for Thanksgiving. I'm ready to go. We have family coming in town. So the only thing that I'm in charge of is stuffing. Husband's doing turkey. Family is bringing the rest of everything else. So
wow,
happy times. Yeah.
My family members who are coming to my house are bringing nothing except for pie.
Same at my house.
The expectation is that I'm going to cook a feast, and so that's a terrifying proposition. We'll see how it all goes. And also, speaking of which, we're going to be deep frying a turkey in the parking lot here at work today. We're going to throw that up on social media. Any words of wisdom for us? Have you ever deep fried a turkey before?
I have.
How does it go?
So make sure the turkey is completely thawed and totally dry. All right. That is first and foremost. Turkey must be thawed and must be dry.
There's no wiggle room.
No.
What happens exactly if it's not completely thawed?
It explodes.
Right.
Yeah. And so then you lower the turkey very slowly into the bubbling oil. Also, turn the flame off. Just turn the flame off when you are lowering the turkey into the oil, and then turn it back on to get it into temperature once it's nice and marinated.
That's a smart move. That's a pro level move.
I'm 40 now. I know things.
We didn't look up a single thing. We were just going to free ball it. We had no idea.
Make sure you have really long silicone mitts too to protect your arms, because that oil is hot and it will splatter, and then you'll drop the turkey, and then again, this all ends. The worst case scenario is explosion and fire. Hold on. Like, so, please be careful.
Silicone mitts sounds a lot safer than the leather one I brought.
Yeah. We're ill prepared. We do have a broomstick though.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like we'll do the broomstick.
Yeah. I also have the music.
The broomstick is gonna break. How big is your turkey? Oh, it can't be over 18 pounds either.
Wait, what?
You can't deep fry an 18-pound turkey?
Well, if it's over 18 pounds, it actually doesn't fit into the amount of oil that's actually in your drum, depending on how big your drum is. So just be very careful. I did tell you
to go small.
Wait,
I bought like a 14-pound turkey.
Okay.
That's fine.
We're in the clear. We're in the clear.
But do not use the broomstick, because it will break and then turkey will fall into oil, and again, explosion. It's not good.
I've downloaded the music, the score from Indiana Jones. Perfect. So when we lower the turkey, we can play that like when they lowered them into the
Someone can get like a mumra or something at the same time.
Yeah.
Indy, cover your eyes.
Exactly.
Lauren, I know you work your ass off for these hits. Do you have any fantasy wisdom to give our audience?
Yes, I do. So today is Tuesday. What? I know, this is why I come on here, is to talk about my birthday and exploding turkeys. So so we have thank you so much, Paris. I'm so sorry about your call the other day, Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert. I wish they would fire Brandon Staley like they fired Matt Canada. When the hockey fans are, chanting to fire Matt Canada, things happen. Okay. So anyway, moving on. We have some unfortunate injuries that we need to discuss. Again, this seems to be the story of my life whenever I come on your show, but it is Tuesday, which is Waiver Wire Tuesday. So everyone go ahead and go after Zach Charbonnet. I don't know how he's less than 40% rostered in most leagues. So go ahead and pick up Zach Charbonnet. He is a beast of a running back. And now that Ken Walker is banged up with an oblique injury, he's going to be the guy. He actually kind of was the guy, even as the backup. So Charbonnet is going to be your number one waiver priority if you need some help at a running back. But even not, he's a great stash. The other one, which is sad, is Mark Andrews is injured. So tight end landscape, again, I call it the dumpster fire because it is. Isaiah Likely is someone from the Ravens that you might want to take a look at if you need some help at tight end. So that's Isaiah Likely, tight end for the Ravens. And Zach Charbonnet, by the way, running back for the Seattle Seahawks, just in case. I like to throw that out there too. So those are two interesting names. You guys mentioned the Jets. Go ahead and pick up and stream Miami's defense on Friday, Black Friday. I have a feeling they're going to do real good. So, and much as I love Tim Boyle as a proxy Lions fan.
Tim Boyle is a veteran of this league of many years.
And I love Tim Boyle as the proxy Lions fan who watched the Hard Knocks preseason. I do like Tim Boyle. However, he's not really a starting quarterback. So there could be some fantasy points to be had in the Black Friday game, which I like. Again, if Josh Downs is still out there, he had a very cooled off October, but those were not very good defenses. I'm sorry, those were very good defenses he went against. So it was a little tough for him. But I also do like streaming Baker Mayfield and Gardner Minshew at the quarterback position. So if Josh Downs is available, I would go ahead and try to pick him up. He should be seeing a little bit more fantasy exposure and a little bit more fantasy points for you in the November waning weeks of November.
Okay, staying in line with what we're doing here, and also in what you
I don't know about because I can't even see you. And this is
sorry.
Rich broke his camera again.
This happens almost daily. I might be back shortly.
Right.
But we're celebrating our Friendsgiving. You exist in this fantasy world. So what are you most thankful for in fantasy football this season?
That is interesting. I'm going to make this overarching. I am the most thankful for people like you. I am so thankful to be able to
Rich specifically?
Just Rich. Actually, not Rich. I'm mostly thankful for Ben.
Jeez, come on,
eat it, losers!
Wow. Wait, sorry, what? I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm for all of you silly boys. I'm just very thankful to be a part of this industry. It is such a welcoming, open place where you can make friends. It doesn't matter if you're in competing networks or not. It doesn't matter if you're regular football, if you're regular sports. It doesn't matter. This is such an amazing industry and an amazing family. I like to call it a family to be a part of. So I'm just thankful for that every single year. Every single year, that's what I love.
Well, we are thankful for you. We appreciate you jumping on the show every Thursday. And obviously, because Thursday, we are going to national programming. We're doing our Friendsgiving today.
That's right.
So with that, we're going to play you off with Mariah Carey, as we always do.
Right. Real quick before you go, stepmom Lauren Paris is asking, Tua or Mahomes?
Oh, geez. I have a feeling that Tua is go Mahomes. Go Mahomes. The Jets defense is still really good. So I would go Mahomes over Tua. But that's a coin toss.
StepmomLauren.com, at StepmomLauren on Twitter or X, whatever you call it. Her work's incredible. FTM Fantasy. You can find her podcasts and shows on YouTube. Lauren Carpenter.
Sirius XM
as well. You're the best.
Yeah.
I mean, you are simply the best. Appreciate you coming on. Yes.
Happy birthday.
And happy birthday.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Lauren.
There she goes, Lauren Carpenter. Wow. Choosing favorites.
Yeah,
she goes.
I heard that.
Yeah. No big deal.
Yeah,
just saying. Maybe be nice to people, guys.
She didn't even say my name.
I think she mentioned Fletch because she feels bad for him. It does sort of feel like a Make-A-Wish situation. A little bit. Like
a lot of it.
Again, you can try to insult me, but I'm flying high.
Well, it is a little bit of one of those like, I'm gonna take him to the prom, and everybody's like, what? And then they're like, well, are you gonna go steady with him? Oh, absolutely not. This is charity.
Maybe Lauren, it's like one of those movies where Lauren is gonna try to do a makeover on Fletch, and then in the process she'll fall in love with him.
Like, I mean, it would be so funny, like the scene in the movie where she goes, Fletch, take your hat off. He takes the hat off. He reveals his very bald head. And then she's like, just concentrate on growing that hair back. And
it's fine. It's fine. You know what? Yeah.
So all of a sudden he has a pompadour. I'm sorry. Look, you're just an easy target.
I'm thankful for you.
I am so thankful for you. I'm also thankful for Underdog Fantasy, which, by the way, the NBA season and NFL are going on at the same time. Have you guys noticed? Both of these leagues are going at the same time.
I have noticed that.
It's incredible, and it's a great opportunity for you to play along with your favorite teams. It's fantasy, but you can win real money. Okay, so they have the pick'em game. You select between 2 and 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on their stats, and then watch the games, right? You win up to 20 times your money in a single game going 5 for 5. Legal in California, by the way, and a ton of fun to play as you watch your favorite team. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been talking about the promo code, which I'm going to give out here in just a few moments. But I really do want to spotlight one of our listeners, Bob, who has made a small fortune playing Underdog Fantasy. He used promo code XTRA. He had his first deposit doubled up to $100, and then he was off to the races. He won his first weekend playing the Pick'em game, and he hasn't looked back. He's nearing $1,000 won on the season. You could be just like Bob, okay? All you got to do is go to their easy-to-use mobile app, that's Underdog Fantasy, or underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with that promo code XTRA, and Underdog Fantasy will double your first deposit up to $100. Plus, new customers will find a special mystery pick in their lobby, right? So, Underdog Fantasy, promo code XTRA, first deposit of $10 or more, doubled up to $100, plus that special pick in your pick'em lobby. Must be 18 plus, present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.com. So coming up next, a lot of big moves with offenses around the NFL. What will be the impact? That's next.
This update is presented by the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus. Starting off this morning with Monday Night Football, Eagles took down the Chiefs 21-17. Final score last night. Jalen Hurts runs for a pair of touchdowns and a rainy night in Kansas City. Tons of NFL action coming up on Thanksgiving. Packers at Lions in the early window. That's at 9:30. Commanders Cowboys at 1:30. Seahawks hosting the Niners at 5:20. Oh, and the Steelers fired Mike Tomlin and the Jets benched Zach Wilson. NBA last night, Clippers dismantled the Spurs 124-99. Warriors beat the Rockets 121-116. Tonight in the NBA, Lakers have an in-season tournament game against the Utah Jazz. Listen to it right here on San Diego Sports 760. This Thanksgiving, Paramount Plus is serving up a tasty NFC East matchup when the Cowboys aim for another big win against rival Commanders. It all kicks off at 4:30 Eastern. The NFL on CBS streams live on Paramount Plus.
Big Rich TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Keep listening if you want to win a 4-pack of tickets to Legoland, California. Legoland Holidays is here, presented by Hallmark Channel. You can celebrate now through January 7th with festive character shows, food, snow, and a whole lot more. Visit Legoland.com/California for details. Also, we've got some Aztec football tickets we'll be giving away. They'll be taking on Fresno State this Saturday over at Snappy. Can celebrate senior night with the Aztecs. First 10,000 fans get an SDSU beanie. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com or just keep it locked in here.
Yeah, keep it locked in here for many reasons. Also, we have a second pair available that we didn't give away yesterday because we saved that pair of tickets to give to the winner of naming our new show mascot.
Speaking of, Paris has thrown out a name that, that makes a lot of sense here.
Wow.
He wanted to call it Uncle Buck. And then you could keep candy in it as a homage to John Candy.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of deep thinking.
We also plan on putting a lot of booze in it.
That is true.
We think at least, unless somebody like Paris wants to throw their hat in the ring, down to two suggestions that came in from the listening audience. We have Buckosaurus Rex, parentheses, having all the sex.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have Buck Norris.
God, that's strong.
So we have the poll up at Big Rich TD Fletch on X.com. So you can vote there. There's 24 hours on that, Ben. Did you set the parameters to 24 hours? Are we going to do it at show's end? We probably should, I guess.
Show's end tomorrow?
Well, I mean, we gotta kind of give people a chance. So maybe even though it's a poll that goes 24 hours, maybe we cut it off right at the end time of this show.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call.
Probably should do it that way.
The Athletic did an anonymous poll of NFL players, and they asked some juicy questions. So there's some pretty good ones in here. Biggest trash talker, CJ Gardner-Johnson with the Lions, won that by a landslide. Best player, Patrick Mahomes, won by a landslide. Worst NFL fan base. There is 2 that are listed. Any guesses on the 2?
I'm guessing Eagles is on the list.
Let's say Eagles.
And then the other one, worst, and then probably one of the New York teams. Maybe not though.
Worst NFL fan bases: Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, that makes sense. Dallas. I forgot about Dallas. Yeah.
And worst stadium to play in: MetLife won by a landslide. People hate MetLife. Turf or grass, real or fake debate. Real got like 90% of the votes.
Yeah.
So what would be the other head coach you would play for if not your own? Any guess?
Andy Reid.
Mike Tomlin.
Wow, yeah. I get that.
By a lot.
So
Bill Belichick coming in way at the bottom.
Well, during my time in the league, I got one visit with the Steelers when I was a free agent and spent some time, not a lot, but spent some time with Mike Tomlin. And I can tell you, I understand that because it's very strange when you talk to somebody who you feel like you know, even though you've never met them. That's the vibe that he gives. There's like this true like understanding of who you are. Like there are just certain people who like read your energy or know a lot about you before you meet them, or it feels at least that way. That's exactly what it was with Tomlin.
He has the ability to instantly connect.
Yes. Yeah. That's perfectly stated. That's what it was. Like he shakes your hand. He asks you a question that's like specifically curtailed to your life and your personality. It gets you talking. And then obviously he's learning about you as you talk, and he's truly a curious guy. And so I had like a quick 15-minute conversation with him over lunch at the Steelers cafeteria. And I just remember walking away from it like, I hope I sign here. I really like this guy. And I was actually trying out for the position with another buddy of mine. And he had played it with the Steelers. And I mean, we're friends, so I was like, maybe they'll sign us both. How much fun will that be? And he was like, no, probably not. And I'm like, I think it's going to be you. And he's like, I think it's going to be you. It was him. So, anyways, Mike Tomlin, great coach. Any other items on the list?
They asked a simple question. Commissioner Roger Goodell, thumbs up or thumbs down? 58.6% said thumbs up. 11% said right down the middle, and then 30% thumbs down.
Yeah, see, that's because the majority of NFL locker rooms know the commissioner from the draft.
So their lasting memory is the hug.
Well, it's just a young league. Like these kids that are playing football, they have no idea how bad it gets when you're negotiating with owners over a new collective bargaining agreement. And so that's when things get really dicey. Check out that approval rating when they're renegotiating with the owners to get better benefits for lifetime medical.
But would it matter who was in there? I mean, it doesn't matter who the figure is. You're the evil person at that point, because you are trying to do what's best for the league while the players are trying to do what's best for the players.
It's like the meat complaining to the butcher.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. The players are the product.
Right.
That's the reality of this business.
That is an awful way to look at it.
It's what it is. I mean, you are cows to slaughter in some ways. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to be some rich, fat, happy cows at the end of your career if you make it. But it is a violent sport, and it's a blood game. You know what I mean? It's combat sport. Everybody's showing up for the same thing. We all like that. Football is highly competitive, but it's also really, really high stakes. People are sacrificing a lot to play that game at that high of a level. And while there is that feeling of like, oh my gosh, there's a tragedy, there's an ambulance coming out on the field. Like the reason why so many people pack the stands for NASCAR, stock car racing, the reason why so many people fill stadiums for college football in the NFL is because there's imminent danger around every corner.
Yeah. So it's modern day gladiators.
Yep.
So the same reason the Coliseum was filled, it was, people wanted to watch the violence. It's what it is.
Bread bring that and back. Circus. we should have people go. We should enslave people and then feed them to lions while we all eat grapes from the stand.
I mean, have you seen the movie?
We'll start a league. Are you not entertained?
It's a great movie.
Yeah. It was a really good movie, so we should do it in real life.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Just like Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift.
It worked for the Romans. I mean, nothing bad happened to them, right?
No.
Fine.
Everybody knows all the Romans in their lives, right? Still running around everywhere.
Et tu, Brute.
Ate a lot of figs. They ate a lot of figs.
Yeah, they wore them on their head, I think.
Fig eating.
Oh, wait,
Romans.
those are olives.
Anyways, the point is,
you guys are being mean to me this morning.
Sorry.
No, it's FriendsGiving.
It is friends.
We are friends. This is how we treat you on a daily basis. Why would we change now on this holiest of holy days for friendship?
Fletch came in during the break and put whatever the punch bowl is going to be named right next to us here. And I got to say, I mean, he looks real good on camera.
Yeah.
Real good.
That's a handsome buck.
Yeah.
As a show mascot, like honestly, ow, my finger got stuck inside of the buck. As a show mascot, like honestly,
where'd it get stuck?
I don't want to talk about it. Just tickled him behind his antler. I don't think anything has been more suiting for this show than this.
Yeah,
than
no
this,
kidding.
This mascot.
No kidding.
Buckosaurus Rex or Buck Norris. It's your choice.
Yeah.
You get to choose what our show mascot is. And then, of course, the winner, it'll either, I guess it comes down to Jeremy or Bob. One of the two of them is going to go see the Aztecs take on the Fresno State Bulldogs. Senior night, Snapdragon Stadium, 7:30 kick Saturday for the final game on the Mesa for head coach Brady Hoke. It's a big one, so we have those tickets on the line. We also have another pair to give away on the show. We have the 4-pack to Legoland to give on the show. All right, we have breaking news. We didn't get to it. To start the show today, Matt Canada for the Pittsburgh Steelers fired. Big changes coming in the league for a couple of teams. We'll talk about who might be next on the hot seat. That's next on Big Rich TD Fletch. Coming up, a couple of breaking stories in the NFL, a suspension and a firing. We'll get to that next. A special Friendsgiving show here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. A lot to do, a lot to give away to listeners here today. Pair of tickets to Aztecs football, Fresno State, coming to town this Saturday, 7:30 kickoff over at Snapdragon Stadium. Tickets available at goaztecs.com. Also, keep listening for your opportunity to win 4 tickets to head over to Legoland. They're celebrating their holidays at the park. Today in the NFL, we've had 2 breaking stories in the middle of the night. So Kareem Jackson, it's been legislated by the NFL that he is going to be suspended without pay for 4 games. If you're wondering, well, who is that? Remind me again. It's the guy who's hitting like a sledgehammer in Denver.
Yeah.
Who refuses to stop tackling people with his forehead.
It's correct. That is correct. Although not a penalty called on the last one of these.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was, who were they playing?
It was the Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs, yes.
And the Minnesota Vikings.
And the hit in question, Josh Dobbs was now a runner. It was not a as I use air quotes, defenseless player at that point. But I mean, it was still helmet to helmet.
Yeah, you have to be really careful not to lead with the crown of your helmet if you're a defender for 2 reasons. One, obviously, that is some of the most damaging blows we've seen from defenders on any offensive player has been when you lead with your helmet, but also you could hurt yourself. Ryan Shazier. I mean, these rules changed when Shazier went down with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was a promising young linebacker. I believe it was year 2. He paralyzed himself, and then he was able to regain some of his like ambulatory movement, and he's able to walk around now, but it was a miracle. I mean, the guy laid motionless on the field. I guess that was 3 years. Maybe it was longer ago. Maybe it was a half decade, 5 years ago, but it was against the Cincinnati Bengals, and they've really ratcheted up the parameters there. So this will be at the conclusion of the suspension, 5 games missed without pay for Kareem Jackson.
Yeah, this is the second suspension of the season. So I mean they're sticking it to him. I don't know. Is it enough to make him stop? He's saying no.
Well, Vontaze
he's being pretty vocal about it.
Was one of those players for the Cincinnati Bengals, speaking of which, who like for years violated these types of personal conduct rules. And eventually there came the debate, like, should he be thrown out of the league?
Right.
Like at some point, rubber's going to meet the road here, and people are going to look at Kareem Jackson and say, there's no place for you in this NFL anymore. If you don't know how to play by the rules, you no longer can play here. So it's possible that Kareem Jackson could play himself out of the league. Also, Matt Canada, offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was fired. No real surprises there. To Lauren Carpenter's point, when they're literally chanting to have you fired at Penguins games, like the Pittsburgh Penguins are playing, and the hockey fans are cheering, chanting, fire Matt Canada.
That's fantastic.
I mean, did you guys, so speaking of fines and everything, I had to go find the video. I'll send it to you right now. Did you see why Josh Jacobs was fined almost $22,000 a week ago?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So, like, I understand the situation with the Denver player, Kareem Jackson, like, that's a little different. He has a history of continuously leading with his helmet. But the video evidence of the reason the NFL fined Josh Jacobs damn near $250,000 is absurd. He gets the ball from the quarterback and runs into the line of scrimmage.
How much was he fined?
Yeah,
$21,855.
That was the weirdest way you've ever come up with.
Quarter of whatever.
$250,000.
It wasn't great.
Half past $1 million.
I just sent you guys the video. Look at it, and I'll shut up forever, I guess.
No,
God,
no,
screw me!
No, come on.
Go buck myself.
What, that was with a B, everyone. It was with a B.
We have a dump bucket. Dump bucket, actually. We'll call it a buck bucket.
Dump bucket.
Our buck here, Buckosaurus Rex or Buck Norris. You can choose your own ending. You could choose your own adventure. Just go ahead and sign on to Twitter and choose what your favorite name is.
So lifelike.
And either Bob or Jeremy is winning those Aztecs tickets from yesterday. As mentioned earlier, we still have a pair to give away on the show today. Okay, Friendsgiving has to continue here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We have a bevy of hometown superstars. Okay, we have people who we really like who are going to be joining the show throughout the show today. Anybody that you guys specifically wanted on the show that we couldn't get over the time? Jim Russell comes to mind. Did we want him?
I texted him. He said there's no chance I'll be awake.
Right, well, which is nice. Probably for the best.
And I said, we're going to call you anyways.
Weird. It's weird when you call each other friends, though. And he's like, yeah, I mean, lose my number, but yeah, give it a shot.
How about former program director Brian Long?
Oh, yeah.
Have him on and talk about the Chiefs game?
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Would be good. Sammy, his son Sammy.
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing well today.
It'd be so fun.
After Marquez Valdez-Scantling dropped a wide open 80-yard pass for a touchdown.
Which, when I wore a Travis Kelce jersey for Halloween, I sent him a picture, actually FaceTimed him, and then for days after that, I was told, never wear that again. You jinx them.
Wow. Yeah. Actually, ever since then, Travis Kelce hasn't really looked like himself.
No. Well, Travis Kelce's found love.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and that's I believe that's where his head's at now.
Swifty. Yeah. He's converted to a Swifty. All right. So look, it's a big day. It's Friendsgiving on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Now, we are still going to have a bar cart Wednesday. Yeah. So coming up tomorrow, Tony Kanja, owner-operator of the 10 locations, Keg and Bottle, around here, San Diego County.
Just at one yesterday. It was at Tierra Santa. Beautiful place.
He's going to be joining us on the show for a bar cart Wednesday. It's going to be a very festive edition. We're excited for that. And coming up on the other side, we're going to be joined by more friends. Darnay Tripp, NBC7 right here in San Diego. John Schaefer, you know him from the wrap-up show from John and Jim, right here on San Diego Sports 760. Be right back.
'Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away.
This update is presented by the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus. Hour 2 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Starting off with Monday Night Football, Eagles took down the Chiefs 21-17 final score. Jalen Hurts running for a pair of touchdowns in the win for the Eagles. Tons of NFL action coming up on Thanksgiving. Packers at Lions in the early window. That game gets going at 9:30. Commanders, Cowboys starting at 1:30. Seahawks hosting the Niners at 5:20. Oh, and the Steelers fired Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator. Jets have benched Zach Wilson. NBA last night, Clippers dismantled the Spurs 124-99. Warriors beat the Rockets 121-116. Tonight in the NBA, Lakers have an in-season tournament game against the Jazz. Listen to it right here on San Diego Sports 760. This Thanksgiving, Paramount Plus is serving up a tasty little NFC East matchup when the Cowboys aim for another big win against the rival Commanders. It all kicks off at 4:30 Eastern. The NFL on CBS streams live on Paramount Plus.
Oh, woo! Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. A fun follow-up to a relatively low-key Monday Night Football game. Rain, wind, suppressed offenses. The Philadelphia Eagles squeak out a win on the road at Arrowhead. Very difficult place to win. Trust me, been there, done that. Not fun, especially the later in the season you go. But another cold weather team in the Philadelphia Eagles. And both these teams are pretty well suited for this time of year. You look at the way that Chiefs defense has been playing, and you have Patrick Mahomes on that offense, so you always have a chance. And then you look on the Eagles side. It hasn't been perfect on defense, certainly from a passing standpoint. It has not been perfect. They are like 22nd in the league in a lot of the statistics that matter. However, they've got a good enough offense that they just keep on keeping on. 9-1 record now, best in the league.
Couple of wild streaks came to an end last night. Andy Reid off a bye, usually perfect. He loses last night. Patrick Mahomes in the month of November, usually perfect. That comes to an end. Jason Kelce beats Travis Kelce for the first time ever in his career. Just a few different things that happened there where no longer.
Yeah. Just things that you're not used to seeing.
But and these two Super Bowl teams that neither look like a Super Bowl team to me. And I don't know if you say, hey, the Eagles absolutely did it, or if you say, well, the Chiefs absolutely blew it. Because I guess either you could make an argument for, but neither team looked like they were bursting at the seams with offense. That Chiefs defense is solid. Both teams played about the same. I mean, it was pretty equal, and I would say it was B-, maybe C+ football.
Well, what it was handling the elements, right? And as you get later in the season, you're going to see more of these sloppy games, and the teams that are better coached, better disciplined in those moments, they're going to get the win. And I frankly feel like the Chiefs did a lot of things that could have gotten them the win. It was really the things they didn't do. Like, there are a couple of plays each game that obviously are the deciding factor. And Fletch, you pointed out two passes, one to Devontae Smith for the Eagles side, one to Marquez Valdez-Scantling on the Chiefs side. One's complete, one's incomplete. And it doesn't necessarily come down to those two plays alone. It doesn't. But we know those moments in football matter. And one team made the play and one team didn't.
That's just the easiest way to sum up that game last night, was the Smith catch versus the Scantling drop. Travis Kelce had a crucial drop on a third down in this game. Travis Kelce had a fumble in this game. Patrick Mahomes threw a bad interception in this game, both of those being red zone turnovers. So say you flip it. Well, the Chiefs of the past, when they're in the red zone, they're dominant and they score touchdowns on those drives. Well, that's a 2-touchdown game then coming down to the end, and the Chiefs win easily.
One of the things that you got to look at is their second half scoring is abysmal.
They didn't score at all last night in the second half.
They get shut out in the second half, but then you start saying, okay, well, how has it looked over the season? You go, oh, bad, like real bad, like very strangely bad for a Kansas City team that, have been dominant in second halves of games. I mean, they came back in the fourth quarter against your San Francisco 49ers to win their first Super Bowl.
Jimmy G.
Well, what we're not used to a Chiefs team that just can't score at will. Not used to a Chiefs team that in a 2-minute situation that Patrick Mahomes doesn't just march down the field and at least put him in position that you'd see a win.
Let me throw this out there to you guys. So the Chiefs get the ball back with, what was it, like 3 minutes left on the clock? The Eagles give them the ball back. Did either of you feel comfortable that the Chiefs were going to march and score and win?
No.
Okay,
no.
Then that playoff game between the Chiefs and the Bills, the Chiefs got the ball back with like 30 seconds left. And I felt very comfortable that the Chiefs were going to go down and score.
Yeah, because they were. I mean, it was just unstoppable. It was an offense that would will points on the board when they needed them.
And it was so flipped from what we're seeing this year. I feel very confident in their defense, like much more confident in their defense this year than I do their offense. I mean, this is the third straight game in the second half that the Chiefs have been held scoreless. The third straight game. That is, okay, they're averaging a league low 5.3 points per game in the second half. I mean, it's almost inexcusable compared to the years in the past. But you know what the crazy thing is? I say that, and I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, because you're not playing against the past Kansas City Chiefs. You're not. Whatever you used to be, you're not now. That you're just a different team. They used to also have Tyreek Hill. It's a different looking team. They won a Super Bowl last year, and that's great, but it has no bearing on the 2023 season. The reality is the 2023 Chiefs have to figure it out offensively, because if they show up to the playoffs with this offense, I don't think they can win a Super Bowl.
And to me, it's circled around the wide receivers. Like the running game looks pretty good with the Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco's running hard. Jerick McKinnon's a nice little option out of the backfield. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a couple nice runs last night. Patrick Mahomes, when he gets out and runs, it's usually a positive thing for the Chiefs. The drops from the wide receivers, the fumbles by Travis Kelce, that's the issue you're having. And by the way, Travis Kelce looks slow. He looks like he's lost a step.
Yeah, he does look like he's lost a step. Rich, you say it. This isn't the Chiefs of last year. This is now the 2023 Chiefs, but it's still Patrick Mahomes. And to look at Patrick Mahomes and go, well, wait, you can't put up 22 points for a win? That's very un-Patrick Mahomes-like. So if it's just the receiving core, they've got problems.
Yeah, no, they definitely have problems. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think when the Chiefs give the ball to their running backs, they're having success. Like if you look at yards per carry overall this season, but if you look at, like rushing yard per game, they're near the bottom of this league. They just don't want to do it. It's just not what they're used to doing. They're not. It's Andy Reid. He's not like hey, let's go play great defense and possess the ball. Like he wants to pump the ball downfield. He wants to innovate offensively.
Score fast.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, you have a Ferrari at quarterback. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you have Travis Kelce, who, if the Chiefs do not end up fixing this offense before the end of the season, this narrative is going to start. And maybe I'm starting it right now. I'm just going to mention it. That people are going to start talking about the distractions. That everybody has been high on this Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce relationship, but the same way everybody likes to build things up, everybody likes to tear things down.
You called this 6 weeks ago, Rich. If he starts to struggle, that's what you say. If he starts to struggle, it's going to become about Taylor Swift, but not in the positive, fun way we've been talking about it. It's going to go to, clearly he just doesn't care. Clearly he was in Argentina at her concert, going to party there during the bye week instead of working here and getting better.
Well, Travis Kelce, he had 7 catches last night, 44 yards, I think was the total. He had 1 touchdown, but he had a very, very bad fumble.
And a bad drop in the fourth quarter.
And a bad drop. Yeah. Yep.
Look,
although he did make up for the drop. I mean, he caught 2 first down passes right after that.
I mean, does it matter like in a vacuum? The answer is no. Like maybe one game isn't going to overall be affected by a trip to Argentina. But let me explain. So I never went anywhere for a bye week. I stayed right where I was. My entire NFL career, if I was playing in New England, I stayed in New England. If I was playing in Arizona, I was in Arizona for a bye week. If I was here in San Diego with the Chargers, I stayed in San Diego. Like I couldn't take myself out of the mind frame of like, we have games to win. It's a job. Like I want to lock it in for this entire 18-week run, or 17 at the time because it was 16 games played back then. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't go to a foreign country and celebrate my girlfriend doing anything. I needed to stay locked in what I was doing.
Well, Annie.
Right.
She did not deserve that, Richard.
But Rich, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you obviously played in the league. You obviously know this a lot better than me. But from the outside looking in, I'm looking at a bye week of it's not a vacation week.
No.
A bye week is just a week that you don't have to get absolutely hammered out there in a game. I mean, it's that you can, start to heal some of the bumps and the bruises. It's not meant for you to jet set around the country or world.
And it's not like he's been perfectly healthy this season.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's had some injuries. And so to take that time, and again, this is going to be the narrative. And again, maybe we're creating it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're the first sports talk show to really focus in on the misgivings of leaving the country during the bye week. But
we should really hammer down on him.
But
why are you so excited about this?
I love tearing people down.
No. I really
that look on your face.
I just question the decision making. Because again, it's rare. It's what he did is rare. It's so rare that it was wildly publicized by the media because you don't see this very often. Also, I mean, it's Taylor Swift and it's all the things that we already know. So
to put it in perspective, was Tom Brady ever going to like one of Gisele Bundchen's catwalks in Germany during a bye week?
No. And she's not from Germany. She's from Brazil.
But sometimes they have catwalks in Germany, maybe.
You are a maniac.
You mentioned misgivings. Speaking of givings, it's Friendsgiving.
It's Friendsgiving.
It's Friendsgiving.
Yeah, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Yeah, we're celebrating a day early because tomorrow's a Bar Cart Wednesday brought to you by Keg and Bottle. But today, we celebrate with our friends. And who better to jump on the show right now than our good friend from across the parking lot, NBC7's own Darnay Tripp on the phone line with us. On StreamYard? You got him on StreamYard?
Whoa, look at that. Look at Darnay on the camera.
Look at him. Woo! How are the twins, Darnay? Did you get any sleep last night?
I woke up before the twins. That's how much I love you guys.
Wow.
That never happened.
Wow.
Okay. So I see you got the wreath up behind you. It's almost Thanksgiving. Do you have Christmas lights on your house? Like, are you somebody who has a Christmas tree up already?
No, not yet. We don't get all that going super early. Laura did put up kind of the other Christmas ornaments, decorations, that sort of thing. So like the one missing piece is the tree. And we need to swap out the lights. We had orange Halloween lights on the house, or have orange lights on the house currently. So we need to swap those out for the Christmas lights, get the tree. So those will be the final pieces. If not this weekend, then shortly thereafter.
Well, you're talking to a guy who's injured himself swapping out his lights on his house.
I did. I don't know what I did, Darnay, but I need to remove my right leg. It's the only way. Yeah.
It doesn't take much these days. Like you reach the wrong way and you're on like the 15-day IL.
That's it. Yeah. I wake up injured on occasion.
Yeah,
it happens.
I'm continually on the 15-day IL with elbow soreness, unrelated to pitching. Anyways, moving right along. Look, the point is, Darnay, we are celebrating Friendsgiving by deep frying a turkey. Also,
right?
We are deep frying a turkey. We're going to take a 14-pound bird. That's right now. It's thawing out in the front seat of my car. We're going to take a 14-pound bird.
It's warm in there.
And Fletch, he brought in a giant vat, and we're going to deep fry. Have you ever deep fried a turkey?
I've had deep fried turkey. I haven't done it myself. I've always been interested in the process, but I just prefer to watch the YouTube videos. I don't think I'll get any more enjoyment out of doing it than I will of watching other people try and in some cases fail quite miserably trying to do it. Those have been enough to kind of scare me off and stick to the traditional methods. To be truthful, I haven't been responsible for the turkey more than like once or twice in my life. There's typically always been somebody else that's on turkey duty. And so I haven't really even had to give it a whole lot of thought. But the process has always intrigued me. I'm more curious about the flamethrower. How will the flamethrower get used in this case, Rich? But no, never deep fried a turkey myself.
You know what? I was loading up the flamethrower and went, oh, maybe we're not supposed to have an open flame near the hot oil.
Don't combine those two.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
I definitely have mine.
You brought the flamethrower?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll use it. We'll use it.
Yeah, we got to use it. We'll find a use for it. That's how I'm going to finish off my turkey at home for Thanksgiving. I'm celebrating with like 10 family members that are coming down to San Diego. And several of them were like, hey, we're going to use the flamethrower, right? Like,
well, how else are you supposed to light the torch at the bottom of the turkey vat? I'm just going to flamethrow it.
Oh,
gosh, genius.
Okay, here we go.
That's a good call. Good call. Also, if we put a top on that, I mean, could we turn this deep fryer into a still?
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
we could start making our own alcohol.
Yeah. I mean, I it's probably against the law.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Darnay,
it's a hobby.
So with Thanksgiving quickly approaching here on the San Diego sports scene overall, what would you say you're most thankful for?
That's a really good question. Man, there's a lot of different ways I could go. I will say this, I got here late 2018, started working at NBC7 early 2019. And, it was shortly on the heels of obviously the Chargers leaving within like a couple of years. And, within a year or so, like the Loyal popped up. A couple years later, the Wave popped up. We got an MLS team. Padres obviously started doing what they're doing, investing in the team. There's just been like a lot of growth in San Diego sports. It's like evolved over the course of the last 5 years. And I think like there's a lot of pride and excitement in what's going on as well. And part of that is like the Padres investing and like really, really going for it. And so I think it's been fun from that standpoint, seeing like all these different teams and ownership groups really invest in like these San Diego teams, try to deliver like winners to these San Diego franchises. Obviously, leading with the Padres and saying, hey, like we're the big team in town. We're going to take advantage of this platform and the way they've really like captivated the fan base. And so seeing just kind of like the scene grow and evolve the way that it has, and all the excitement around San Diego sports after what was, I wasn't here for it, but what is a tough time has been cool to see.
Darnay, what do you think this Padre team feels like without Peter Seidler as the owner anymore?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've been curious, like, how much this team, once we get around to next season is going to be like inspired and fueled and motivated by the loss of such an important figure. Not only what he did, just kind of writing the checks, but the way he connected with these guys and really invested in the people in and outside of the franchise. And then I think the question a lot of people have is like, do they stay the course? And I think that's probably why Peter wanted to keep it in the family. He had the quote about there not being another fire sale in San Diego. And so I think hopefully that's a point of encouragement and some hope that, this won't be the type of situation where a new owner comes in and all of a sudden you're being really, really conservative and you're protecting your investment more than trying to serve fans, which would be unfortunate. And I think regardless, they were going to have to probably scale back financially a little bit. We already saw kind of those wheels turning, but hopefully whoever, if it's Eric Katsenda or whoever ends up kind of taking the reins full time to honor Peter's legacy, will continue down the road of like bringing in star players, bringing in a talented roster, and doing whatever they can to bring a World Series to San Diego.
It felt like Peter never really followed the rules. He kind of would buck the trend any chance possible, and hopefully the next owner does the same thing. Yeah, buck right there.
There it is.
Darnay, speaking of Padres, so this is supposed to be the week that they announce their next managerial hire. Is that happening today, tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day? What are we doing?
I wish I had an answer.
Thanks a lot.
I'm sitting here wondering, am I going to get kicked off the stream now? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we should get him off. We should get him off. What kind of friend is he?
Right.
On answering your questions.
Right.
Son of a.
Well, I hear you guys talking about Bar Cart Wednesday. I'm like, shoot, why didn't we combine Friendsgiving with Bar Cart Wednesday? You might have found me in studio at 7 a.m. if I knew that was going on.
Well, hang on. The door's open.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, listen.
I'm definitely not coming at 7 a.m.
Okay. I was about to say all are welcome.
How about 8 a.m.?
Yeah, can we tell you at 8 a.m.?
The Twins usually wake me up by 8 a.m. So we could negotiate 8 a.m. 7 a.m. That's a tough one.
Well, listen, we don't want to bother you with a great time, Darnay, so you just make it whenever you can, but the door is always open to you. Hey, Darnay Tripp joining us, by the way, NBC7, our friend on Friendsgiving, and we're going to have a lot of our other friends on this show as well. Not better friends, Darnay. I don't want you to feel like we're measuring you up to anybody else, but just other friends, okay? Speaking of friends, we have this new friend. Mm-hmm. It's our show mascot. Mm-hmm. It is a bust, a silver or chrome bust of a antlered buck adorned with a scarf and sunglasses with a punch bowl attached to its antlers. So we're searching for a show name, or I should say a name for our new mascot. We've got 2 qualifiers to win Aztecs tickets. One is Buck Norris. The other one, Buckosaurus Rex, in parentheses, having all the sex. Which of those 2 names do you like the most?
You had me at Buck Norris right out of the gates. I was like, it's gonna be that one's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, Buck Norris is strong.
Yeah, it really
Buck
is.
Norris is really, really good.
Darnay, I have another question for you. Dessert on Thanksgiving.
His mom's cookies. They're the best cookies in the world.
Oh, Angela? She don't miss.
Okay, you brought up the cookies several times.
You guys have had the cookies. You guys have experienced the cookies. Last time I was in studio, you guys got the cookies.
Right. Was there also like a bar?
Oh, yes, the Twix bar, which was the week 1. That was the week 1 cookie, and that might still be my favorite this season. She bakes a different cookie or dessert every week for the football night in San Diego crew, Sunday nights.
Wow.
NBC 7.
Look at Rich over here smiling.
That makes me want to smack you because you have not shared with us once.
There's a box. Okay, this is what I'll do. There's always a couple, like we help out the crew, okay? And so it's not just like the football night crew. The folks that are there on news duties, working behind the scenes, the digital crew, our friends in Telemundo, like it's not just a football night thing. Ange is a very giving person, and so she usually supplies enough for everybody to go home happy. So this is what we're going to do. One of these weeks, we'll try for it on Sunday. Just get a little Ziploc bag and throw a couple of the extras in for you guys. And then it'll be up to Rich to not eat them on the way home after the show, or to not eat them for breakfast on the way to your show.
It's impossible.
So to actually make it to you following morning.
That seems impossible. That seems absolutely impossible. It'd be better if you just threw them over the fence here next door.
Anyways, thanks for coming on the show, Darnay Trip. That's Darnay Trip, NBC 7. All right, buddy. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you and Laura and the kiddos, and all the best to you in this coming new year. I'm sure we'll talk to you before then, but awesome having you on the show, buddy.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate it, fellas.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Darnay Trip.
Wow.
I mean, just truly one of our best friends on Friendsgiving joining us on the show right there. Okay, coming up next, we may have a surprise visit from Darren Smith. I mean, we don't know.
We don't know.
He might
He
come
has
on.
not texted me.
He has not texted us.
But he told me to text him this morning.
But he also said right at 7.
Right.
So
the time is come and gone.
Yeah, I mean, so who knows?
Is that
It's
also
up in the air.
John Schaefer is going to be joining the show here coming up shortly.
Yep.
And again, we have great giveaways today. Aztecs tickets coming up this weekend, Saturday, at Snapdragon Stadium, 7:30 kickoff, the final game of the season for the football team. Legoland tickets, all that coming up on the other side. Also, a former great calls out the mediocrity of the current NFL. We'll get to that next.
is the greatest to ever play the game calling out the NFL? We'll talk about it next.
This update is presented by the Jim Betrell Real Estate Team. Starting off here with Monday Night Football, Eagles took down the Chiefs 21-17 final score. Jalen Hurts running for a pair of touchdowns in the win. Tons of NFL action coming up on Thanksgiving. Packers at Lions in the early window. That starts at 9:30. Commanders Cowboys at 1:30. Seahawks hosting the Niners at 5:20. Oh, and the Steelers fired Matt Canada. And the Jets bench Zach Wilson. That's the NFL news. In the NBA, Clippers dismantling the Spurs 124-99. Warriors took down the Rockets 121-116. Tonight in the NBA, Lakers in-season tournament game against the Jazz. Listen to it right here on San Diego Sports 760. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Rich and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Tomorrow is a special Thanksgiving spectacular, a Bar Cart Wednesday that we'll be doing here on Big Rich and Fletch. Today, FriendsGiving. We also have Aztecs football tickets versus Fresno State this Saturday, Snapdragon Stadium. You can celebrate senior night with the Aztecs. First 10,000 fans get an STSU beanie. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. Also, we have a family 4-pack of tickets to Legoland, California. The Legoland holidays are here. It's presented by Hallmark Channel. Celebrate now through January 7th with festive character show, food, snow, and more. Visit Legoland.com/California for details. Ben Fletcher says in my ear, as I'm talking, there's a dog story going viral right now, and I need to talk about it.
You guys ready to cry?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You want the most intense "we don't deserve dogs" story of all time?
No, these are so hard for me.
I'm gonna read this verbatim. It's not
could
long.
you play a
Sarah
Brian
McLachlan?
Well, no. Play a Brian Adams song. Everything I do it for you.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's real good.
Because I have a feeling it's going to be like a dog trading his life for his owner's life.
No, God.
It's going to be something like that. I know it's going to be
What's the name of that song?
Everything I do, parentheses, I do it for you, close parentheses.
I love your brain. What's that song that you told me? Is it the exact words?
Well, I didn't know the title of it, you jerks.
What's the song? Everything I do it for you.
You want to hear the story?
I do.
Sorry, go ahead.
Dog saves owner's life by lying on him for nearly 24 hours in freezing conditions. A man who broke his neck outdoors in freezing conditions survived lying in snow for nearly 24 hours thanks to his dog, who kept him warm through the night and barked for help for hours. Anticipating a journey of only several meters, the man was wearing just long johns, a shirt, and slippers when he went outside, despite the temperature being around -4 degrees Celsius.
What?
However, he slipped, broke his neck, so Kelsey, a 5-year-old golden retriever, kept him warm by lying on top of him and kept him awake by licking his hands and face until emergency services came.
How's the dog doing?
That's the
Dog's
question I
alive.
have.
There's a picture of the dog and guy in the hospital right now.
Aw, come
Dog's
on,
still
Kelsey.
lying on top of him.
That's a nice pup.
Dude, that's good puppers.
Yeah, that's a good pup.
That is a good
Golly.
puppers.
Wilson, if you're listening, I love you.
I'll tell you what.
Wow.
I own a 8-pound Italian Greyhound that's toothless and blind. There is no way that dog would do that for me.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Brock in a similar situation. I would have to lay on top of Brock to keep him warm. Like, Brock is tiny.
My dog would bark at me until I got him a cookie.
Two things about that story. A, like, I just immediately thought about my dog would be dead in the first 15 minutes. I would just be like it would be, I'm in much worse shape, but I'd have a broken neck and I'd be like, bark, bark, oh my dog. And then the other thing I was thinking, I'm going to be the one licking her face to keep her alive. Yeah. The other thing I was thinking about,
stay with me, lady,
is in this article, they use Celsius. Well, I guess to make it sound more, it was -4 Celsius. That's 28 degrees.
Well, no, -4 Celsius is below freezing.
Yeah. It's 28 degrees.
Oh,
32 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing, right?
Wait, no, it can't be 28 degrees.
Yeah.
No.
Because freezing point is 32 on the Fahrenheit side.
Correct, but Celsius you have to multiply by 2.5 and add 30. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know what it is.
Multiply by 2.5 and add
or something like that, whatever it is. I don't know what the hell it is. It's some insane thing. That's why we don't use it.
The dog's 70 kilograms.
It's 24.8 degrees Fahrenheit, according to Google.
-4
Celsius in Fahrenheit is 24.8 degrees.
Oh, I was off by 4 degrees.
Wait, hold on. That's yeah. Never mind.
Yeah. Wake up, dummy.
How's your leg?
Yeah.
New show nickname IHOP.
It's brought to you by IHOP, which you guys know I talk a lot about IHOP, and that's what I like to talk about at the moment.
Silver Devil pancake. We're not sponsored by them yet.
Yes. Right, IHOP. Are you listening, Denny's?
Right, broken yoke. Anyways, I'm rubbing our new mascot's nose. We have an antlered bust of a buck that has a scarf and a pair of sunglasses, and we have 2 names. We have 2 finalists for the naming rights of our new show mascots. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you got to go on Big Rich TD Fletch on our Twitter or Instagram account. You can see pictures and video of the buck over the past 2 days now. We also have a poll at Twitter.
He is a handsome boy.
Oh, he's a handsome boy.
So good looking pups.
It's either going to be Buck Norris or Buckosaurus Rex. Either way,
all the sex.
Either way, it's getting named by the end of this show. So if you want to weigh in on that poll, please do so. Big Rich TD Fletch. Also coming up on the show, we're going to be joined by more friends.
Yeah,
it's a Friendsgiving show.
Uncle Teddy Leitner going to stop by.
Woo! Damn right, he's going to be stopping by. We're going to have Uncle Ted. We're going to have John Schaefer. We may have Darren Smith if he responds to our text messages.
We definitely have Dr. David Chow.
Yeah, got Doc Chow.
A lot of our friends have already visited with us. Lauren Carpenter, our stepmom, was on the show earlier. Darnay Tripp, NBC7.
Kevin AC does send his regards, but he is in Colorado working out with his son, so cannot join our show.
Yeah, working out.
Weird flex. Why is it? What is it with people telling us when they're working out?
I think
you know what? You never have that problem with me.
Message. Yeah. You will never get a text from me saying, "Hey, sorry, too busy working out."
You guys want to hear from Tom Brady?
Yeah, let's hear what he had to say.
Tim Brody, as he's named in some circles.
He jumped on Stephen A's podcast and he had an interesting take on today's NFL. Here it is. game changed, and it's kind of the butterfly effect. And for those who don't understand the metaphor, if a butterfly flaps their wings in Nebraska, it could set off a tidal wave in Thailand, right? Like the idea is everything affects everything. So you have something small happen over here, and then all of a sudden something cataclysmic can happen somewhere else. Now, I don't know if that theory has ever been proved true. I don't know if there's any way to prove that true, but the rule changes in the NFL have made a diminished product, in my opinion. I agree with what Tom Brady just said.
I agree too. I agree as well. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, I do believe that athletes are becoming. I mean, we're dialing it in. They're becoming more athletic. They're becoming. People are stronger. They're faster. They're leaner. These athletes are hitting harder than I think they've ever hit before. I mean, everything is elevated. The equipment is trying to catch up with that. It's just there's player safety that is looked at now. By the way, I mean, maybe this doesn't equate with the Tom Brady era, but as these different quarterbacks retire and time moves on, it feels like every quarterback or every NFL player can look back at their time and say, yeah, it was a different game back then. It was a dirtier game. It was a better product. And now it's diminished because of player safety, which, by the way, we're watching everything in high def. And we're seeing everything. And when you have the audience now seeing every little break, every injury, I think that does amplify it.
And to play devil's advocate to Tom's point is the NFL can't afford to have another Junior Seau situation where I know it's not directly related to football, but many think it is. Many think it's because of the injuries he sustained while he was playing, led to severe mental illness. And it's heartbreaking is what it is, especially here in San Diego. So imagine that same situation happening in 2023 and the pile-on effect that would happen onto the NFL.
I think that is a little bit of one of those. Look, there are a lot of crises that people use as an excuse to push through legislation, right?
Yep.
I mean, there is an old saying: "Don't let a good crisis go to waste." And I think, I'm not blaming you for this, but many people have started that narrative, like using Junior Seau as some sort of beacon to say this game's too physical. Look, I mean, this game was physical before Junior. There were people who have committed suicide who never stepped onto a football field, who also had, substance abuse problems, and who also had some of the other issues that plagued Junior in his personal life. I mean, Junior, like all of us, was a complicated man. There were a lot of things going on in Junior's life. And I never would like to speak ill of the dead. Junior was also a tremendous friend and a teammate of mine and was an incredible human being. I never had a cross word spoken to me by Junior Seau. As a rookie on the Patriots, he welcomed me under his wing. We'd work out together sometimes in the weight room. He was a tremendous human being. I frankly, I don't know this for sure, but I bet you if he were still around and you talked to him about today's product, he'd say the same thing. And I don't think it's because of like the litmus test of toughness. I don't think a lot of us look back on the game and say, oh yeah, we had it harder, so it was better. I frankly think that the product has diminished where offenses are becoming more simplified, not just at this level, but at all levels, because they're protecting high school athletes and college athletes better. And as a result, these players aren't ready to play when they get to the NFL. Mm-hmm. And so everybody's like, hey, why is scoring down in the NFL? Well, it's because times have caught up. You changed these rules about 5 years ago. Well, guess what? All of those players who used to play, with some of which he just named in that little diatribe, have retired. And now you have this brand new crop of players who don't really know how to be professionals playing at this level and can't play in these very complicated offenses.
Which also on the defensive side of the ball, you're taking away some of the game by not allowing hits, by not allowing these rushers to hit the quarterback. I mean, they have to stop the way that they play.
I remember one of the most famous plays of Kenny Pickett's career in college football was down the stretch of the regular season while he was at Pitt. He fake slid. Like he looked like he was giving up his body. So the defender like jumped over him or got out of his way. And then he scored a touchdown on the play. The rules have changed so much that a safety in the open field against a running quarterback who is ready for impact pulled up and jumped out of the way.
Like happened 4 or 5 times last night when Jalen Hurts would go out to the sideline where you could tell he was starting to go down, but defenders literally backed off.
Yep. Yep, it's just look, and look. Are we preserving players more? I mean, there's a lot of injuries in the league before. There's still a lot of injuries in the league now. So I don't know if it's necessarily working from that standpoint. Okay, a lot of debate on that. Obviously, no debate on the Good Feet store. Good Feet store, especially for me, has resolved a lot of the issues from a playing career in the NFL. A very physical career, a lot of back pain as a result. A lot of knee pain. The hip pain was really coming on, and I was looking for answers and really coming up with none. In fact, I was scheduling an appointment with my orthopedic surgeon, the guy who did my back. I was asking him, "Hey, do you know a good hip guy? Because it feels like my hip might, I might need an MRI on this son of a gun." It really was bothering me. So what I ended up doing,
and we know it. I mean, hips don't lie.
No, they don't. They don't. They certainly don't, unless it comes to taxes, Shakira. Yeah. Anyways, look, the point is, when I was struggling with all this, I went over to the Good Feet store as kind of a last resort, and I'm so glad I did. Sat down, got my consultation, got my try before I buy test walk. The Mission Valley location right over by the studio here, and back pain almost completely gone. The ankle pain that I was suffering diminished, hip pain and knee pain really gone. So we're talking about a life changer here. I'd love to see those results for you as well. Goodfeet.com to book your first appointment today. They've been doing it for 30 plus years. A lot of trusted professionals over there. Okay, joining us on the other side, John Schaefer of John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, on the show next. We got stood up. This show just got stood up, and we will seek revenge next on Friendsgiving. So we've got to do something right now that we didn't want to do on our Friendsgiving show. Okay? We didn't want to do it.
We're angry.
But we've got to do it because John Schaefer, he refused to answer his phone. He said he's too busy for our show this morning. He's got better things to do. I don't know, with his kid, whatever.
Hi, you reached Jim Russell. Sorry, I'm not available at the moment. Wow. If you leave me your name and number, I will get back to you as soon as possible. Easier way to get a hold of me is just shoot me a text. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, so we're going to call Jim Russell instead. Yeah. And he's not answering his phone, so we'll leave a message.
Did the tone happen? Oh, wait.
What are you doing?
Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, so Jim, wake up. Are you there?
Jim, this is Big Rich, TD, and Fletch calling you. So we had your co-host on, or we were going to, John Schaefer. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with him.
Yep.
He was supposed to come on the show. We scheduled with him. When was that? With Fletch? Was that yesterday? Yeah, he texted me
on a group text with John and Jim.
Okay. Wow. And so
he confirmed.
So he said he was coming on
7:45.
7:45. Okay.
Okay.
What time is it?
7:52.
Yeah. When did he text you to tell you that he wasn't coming on the show?
7:43.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So not sure if Schaefer knows how radio works, but sometimes, you'll schedule a guest and you'll say, oh no, this is going to be a great segment because we're going to have a real fun guest on.
Yeah. We have so many questions lined up.
Oh, we were going to ask him all sorts of fun stuff.
So we have so many, we have like a bit plan. It's going to be great.
We were going to say so many nice things to your co-host, John Schaefer. Instead, we're calling you because now you're our new best friend from John and Jim.
Right. John Schaefer is a steaming pile of human
excrement. There, I said it.
That just happened.
Boom. Mic drop. Okay,
mic drop. On Friendsgiving.
Yeah, this was our Friendsgiving show, and he's ruined it. So here's what we're asking of you. We need you to fill out a quick questionnaire. We're going to maybe evaluate some of the things that you can bring to the table as our new friend.
That's a good call.
We're going to send that your way, probably via fax later on this morning. And honestly, the only thing it requires is occasionally getting out of bed before 10 a.m. so you can jump on the show with us.
If we send a fax from the station, can we send it to the station?
I believe yes.
Okay, all right.
I believe yes.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay, so Jim, pass this along to John. You're dead to us.
Right.
Not happy Thanksgiving.
Right.
How about that? Suck on that one time.
Yeah. Right. Also, we need help naming the punch bowl that we purchased.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what you like better, Buckosaurus Rex, having all the sex, or Buck Norris.
Yeah. Either way, just go ahead and call us back at your leisure. We need an answer on that question probably before the end of the show. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bye. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So Jim Russell, not an a-hole. John Schaefer, a-hole. Is that?
I mean, I think it's a consensus.
Okay.
I've heard really good things about this Jim Russell guy.
Everybody out in the newsroom is giving a thumbs up right now.
Wow, geez. I can't believe Chris Boyer from KGB FM is actually applauding right now.
Unbelievable. Are they opening a bottle of champagne?
Donna Harvey
my goodness.
She did it with a sword.
Well, a saber.
Yeah, she had a saber. She had a champagne saber.
Just knocked the top right off.
Seems very ceremonial. It's almost like they're waiting for us to defriend John Schaefer. Boy, do we hate him.
Yeah.
He almost ruined our Friendsgiving, but we won't let him, okay? We will prevail. We also have a lot of great giveaways on this Friendsgiving. We have Aztecs tickets to their final home game. That's coming up here in just a few minutes. We also have Legoland tickets to give away. That's coming up as well. We got to get into Monday Night Football. Doc David Chow is going to join us on the other side. And maybe one more mystery guest as well. Stick around. It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on Friendsgiving. but I don't know if I'm completely believing in the Baltimore Ravens or the Chiefs or any of the teams in the AFC, frankly. And I don't think I completely believe in the Eagles or the San Francisco 49ers or any of the teams in the NFC. The Detroit Lions can get mentioned in the same breath, because it feels like this is the most competitive the NFL has ever been at the top.
This has potential to be an excellent postseason, and maybe Tom Brady's right. Maybe we're not seeing a dominant team right now because, well, all the rule changes in the NFL have made it a softer product, so it's no longer the strongest team wins like it was with the Patriots for so many years. I don't know. I tend not to believe that because I see the product on the field this year as being pretty damn good.
But that doesn't look, everybody's playing the same rules. So dominance would have nothing to do with the rule changes. Like, really what it comes down to is it's just parity for whatever reason.
In terms of odds just came out literally 2 seconds ago. I got the notification on my phone for Super Bowl favorites this year. Right now it's Chiefs, Eagles, Niners tied on top. Same odds, all three teams.
Wow.
Well, interesting. I mean, to me, my biggest takeaway was these two top teams in the conferences, they don't match their record. I mean, the teams do not. The Eagles are not a 9-1 team. I mean, they just don't look like it to me. They've obviously they're winning games. That's all that matters is W's at the end of this thing. But I mean, that just does not look like a Super Bowl caliber team to me.
Yeah,
and do the Chiefs?
No, they just don't. Neither do. Because I mean, look at the AFC. There are hotter offenses out there. You know what? The Chiefs defense, I think, is great. I think Chiefs defense is great. But man, look at the Dolphins offense. I mean, that kind of is the Chiefs offense of old. It's explosive. They could score at any moment. They want to score fast. They want to score hot. And the Chiefs just do not have that this year.
They really don't. And it's not just because of the elements last night. It's sort of been that way the whole season. We mentioned it earlier in the show. Scoreless in the second half. 3 straight games now, they've been scoreless in the second half. Andy Reid, which is odd, but he lost after the bye week here in Kansas City. A home game after a bye week on top of that. Insult to injury there. So, yeah, it's an interesting season for the Chiefs. Not as dominant as they used to be. All right.
Something very happened after the game last night. As Mahomes was walking to the locker room at Arrowhead, he threw his gloves up to a fan. The fan dropped it, so another drop pass for Patrick Mahomes.
Coming up, we do have Aztecs tickets to give away, and we will give them away before we check in with Doc Chow, our injury specialist who joins us every week on the show on Tuesday. We bumped him up slightly. He's going to join us at 8:10 because we had to make room for Teddy Leitner. 8:30 visit with the voice of the Aztecs, former voice of the Padres, will be joining us on the show today as well. So we'll give away those Aztecs tickets soon, but we have to play this clip because coming out of the weekend, the loss that the Chargers had against the Green Bay Packers, who are not a very good football team, this has obviously now caught the attention of the national media. Rex Ryan was on Get Up, I believe it was, on ESPN yesterday, and absolutely eviscerated Brandon Staley. Here's what he had to say. So,
yeah, that is, I mean, being truthful in it. He's calling out the obvious. I feel the same way. I feel the exact same way. Rex Ryan, bravo.
So he was at the highest level of his coaching career in college, coordinator at John Carroll and James Madison University before joining the staff with the Chicago Bears, worked with the linebackers there. Linebackers coach with the Broncos before catching on as the defensive coordinator for 1 year at the league level with the Los Angeles Rams, getting them to the Super Bowl before accepting the head coaching job with the Chargers. He's a young head coach like many in the NFL now. He is one of those who comes off that Sean McVay coaching tree that really caught fire early in his career. Everybody was trying to steal some of the magic from the Rams there. And I get it. And it worked out in certain cases. Kevin O'Connell, young offensive coordinator, goes to Minnesota Vikings. They look like a completely different team on the other side of that hiring. However, it has not worked with the Chargers. It basically hasn't worked since he's gotten there. There are some times where without the experience, it makes sense, right? Kevin O'Connell was never a head coach, never at any point in his career until this first job with the Minnesota Vikings as a head coach, and it's worked. But sometimes you need that experience, and for whatever reason, as a leader of this team, it just hasn't worked with Brandon Staley.
No, and I think Josh McDaniels was at the top of my list for coaches that needed to go this season, and now that Josh McDaniels got the boot, that puts all the spotlight on Brandon Staley. I mean, it just doesn't work. You're right. Something needs to change.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Look, again, I mentioned this yesterday. I don't love the idea of sitting here and campaigning for a guy to be fired. I hate that. I don't mind when people say it. It doesn't bother me, but I hate it when I say it, because I feel like I'm not eager for Brandon Staley to lose his job. It doesn't make sense to me to root for that. However, there are result-driven industries. I'm not going to your movie if you're a bad actor. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not rooting for your team. I can't spend time watching bad football. I got better things to do.
Or even if you're a fantastic actor, if the movie's terrible, you're not going. You could put all the stars in the movie, and if it's no good, people aren't buying tickets.
Exactly. I've been to so many more Padres games since they've actually made an investment and played better baseball than I ever did prior, because guess what? It's more fun to watch a winner. So in a performance-based industry, you've got to perform in order to keep your job, in order to keep fans around. And if the Chargers are looking to grow a fan base in Los Angeles and they're not listening to our fans, who many are on Twitter, who are on Instagram, who are on TikTok, and they are saying the same thing that you just said and Rex Ryan just echoed on Get Up on ESPN yesterday morning, then it's time to make a decision.
So there's an argument that's also being thrown around that, well, the Chargers don't really fire people in season. Well, neither do the Steelers. In fact, this is the first time they've fired a coordinator in season since like the 40s.
Wow.
They fired Matt Canada this morning. So it's like it's time to make adjustments when adjustments need to be made.
Yeah, it's hard decisions at that level, man, because, there's families attached to these coaches. And, when a head coach loses his job, it's not typically the only job that's going to be lost and all that too. And I'm sure he's a great guy if you met Brandon Staley.
Well, and when you look at some of these firings, it's not like it's a firing where you go, why would they do that? That's not justified. Right. You can back this up. I mean, as a avid watcher of the NFL, just watching it on TV, you can go, well, why would they make that call? And you get enough of those, you're gone.
This isn't getting rid of Marty Schottenheimer after a 14-win season. Brandon Staley has a 3-win season with Justin Herbert and the second highest payroll on defense, like you just heard there from Rex Ryan. Not good enough. Okay, joining us right now, who is good enough every single week on Tuesdays, Dr. David Chow. Doc Chow, how you doing this morning?
All right.
Yeah. You know what? That was compelling.
We may be having a connection problem.
Absolutely. So we'll catch up with the doc when we figure out what technical difficulties are going on there. But yeah, not to belabor the point, but there are also, when you look around the NFL and college football, frankly, a lot of this going on, right? At the college football level, there's a lot of guys getting paid an awful lot of money who haven't had many good results. I mean, shoot, Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M, after a blowout win over Mississippi State, fired him as soon as the game ended. They beat Mississippi State 51-10.
Right.
He couldn't even make his way on into the tunnel before they were like, hey, you're done here. Could we have your whistle?
Which again, justified. If things aren't working, you need to make a change. And I mean, that's just it. This is, if you're looking at the Chargers, this is a team that should be, look, this season with the Chiefs, the way they're playing, the Chargers should be leading the division.
If you look at what's happening with the New England Patriots, another example of expectations being set extremely high and results coming in way, way beneath them. I mean, we're going to get close to the point. Matt Canada, his head rolls in Pittsburgh. Josh McDaniels prior to that. Brandon Staley may be next. I mean, if it continues to spiral on the other side of this bye week for the Patriots, I'm very curious because we're talking about franchises that don't typically make decision in season. It hasn't happened certainly in 20 plus years in New England, but is it possible that the Patriots would do that?
I went and looked it up. Steelers firing Matt Canada this morning. That's the first time the franchise has fired a head coach or a coordinator in season in 81 years.
81 years. Good grief. Okay. Joining us right now on the phone, we have Dr. David Chow, sixscore.com. If you want to get any of the injury updates, not just around the NFL, but around the NBA as well this time of year. A lot of people interested in that for their fantasy basketball or their betting interests. Okay. So Doc, we have an update on Mark Andrews, Ravens tight end, who went down that hip drop tackle on Thursday Night Football. All of a sudden, it sounds like he could be back. I thought this was a season ender. What happened?
Well, by video, it was a hip drop tackle, and it was a high ankle injury. It turned out to be one of the more severe forms, where not only the ligament was torn, but a bone broken as well. And we, at that point in time, said, look, we still think there's a chance that Andrews could come back this season, even with the news of the fracture. Now, Coach John Harbaugh, who's normally not as revealing, said he's done for the season. We tried to interpret that for him as maybe he meant for the regular season, and we'll see about playoffs. And I guess he then walked back his comments a little bit. But see, this is the tricky world. Here's the thing. Like, we'll say something sometimes, and the wording will be different, and people will say, aha, you're wrong, and gotcha, and, freezing cold takes, and this, that, the other. First of all, we're just doing stuff by video and from afar, but we don't delete tweets, and sometimes we come back around and it works out okay. And because we're just using our eyes as our guide. And look, he's going to need surgery, but if the Ravens can go deep into the playoffs, I think there's a chance that Mark Andrews, especially the style of football he plays, how good he is, that he could come back and do something for the Ravens.
Hey, Doc, last hour we were talking about Tom Brady, who came out and said, hey, you know what? The NFL is different now than when I was in the league. It's a watered down product now because they're trying to make players safer. Do you feel like the NFL has gotten safer? Are rules changes? Are they making less injuries now?
Well, in some ways, they've made it safer, I believe, with the rules changes, because if you didn't, I think injuries would continue to skyrocket. If you still allowed the hits on quarterbacks and the you got jacked play that we used to, at least when I grew up, look forward to watching on Monday Night Football, they had a whole segment on it. There would be a lot even more injuries and worse injuries. Let's take Kareem Jackson, for example. On my podcast yesterday from the morning, I said, unfortunately, or actually fortunately for him, he's going to get suspended again because he just got back from the suspension for hitting player head down. It's for his own protection, so he doesn't paralyze himself. He did it early in game to a quarterback on primetime single-game television, not buried in the 10 a.m. segment. In his first game back, and they talked about it on TV. And sure enough, they doubled down on his suspension from 2 games last time to 4 games. That's for his own protection. Does that water down the hits and product? I saw what Tom Brady said. In some ways, it does. And Tom says he didn't throw guys into trouble, right? And et cetera. And I understand that. But I think the NFL has been effective in slowing down the trajectory of the increase in injury, given the violence and the collision nature of the sport. But have they, made football safe? No, it's still the collision sport of football.
Dr. David Chow joining us at Pro Football Doc on X. You could also find him at sixscore.com. That's Sports Injury Central for all these sort of injury updates throughout the NFL, also the NBA this time of year. Doc, Fletch is just a hopeless Niners fan. Whether they win or lose, he is insufferable on Mondays. If they play on Mondays, he's insufferable on Tuesdays. If they play on Thursdays, he's insufferable on Fridays, like this week, Thanksgiving Day. We're going to be on that group text, and we know we're going to get hammered with text messages. And I know this is what he's going to say. It's going to be something to the tune of just only if we had Hufanga out there. That would have made this so much better. Fletch, I know that's the question you want to get to, so why don't we get it over with now?
I was actually going to ask about Joey Bosa, you jerk. Hufanga's out for the season. Bosa has a chance to return. Doc, what's up with Joey Bosa?
Joey Bosa, this is what I always say. You don't judge the reaction to the injury, you judge the injury itself. And just the towel over the head, the emotional nature doesn't actually always mean anything. It means players are emotional and they care, and any setback, it bothers them. Look, fairly innocuous-looking injury, which led us to the conclusion it could be a fifth metatarsal stress Jones-type fracture. Yes, initial x-rays are negative, but I haven't seen the MRI report yet. Could it be a lift strength variant, move foot spring variant? It could be. I don't see it at this point as for sure season ending, but I would be surprised if he wasn't missing at least a 4-week IR stint, because he predominantly plays on that defensive right side. And if you're an edge rusher, the most important part is your outside right foot to get around the corner. And I don't see that being able to happen for multiple weeks, even in the best case scenario for Joey Bosa. As far as your guy Hufanga, don't hate on me. He actually did not see the play in game. But when the announcement came that he was out, we went back and looked for it in game and found the video that made it look like, yes, that's his ACL, and that's now indeed being confirmed. And he's been battling issues, I think, all season with his Baker cyst. I'm not saying it was exactly related, but I don't know if he was the same guy this year that he has been in the past. But he's still pretty important to the 49ers, and unfortunately his season is over.
Yeah, those ACLs, I mean, it just takes a lot of time to come back from them. Unless you're Aaron Rodgers, he comes back from any injury within just really weeks, fortnights.
Fortnights. Yeah, fortnights.
Hey, Doc, we wish you the happiest of Thanksgiving with you and your family, and we'll talk to you on the other side. We'll talk to you next week.
And thanks for putting me on audio today. I know it's a little different time, but at least this way you're not teasing me with pictures of the turkey, etc. I can't see it. And I would have tried to come down, but you said 10 o'clock. I got to work for a living, man. I can't make 10 o'clock.
Yeah, look, yeah. What? You don't call this work?
But yeah,
we're working too, Doc.
We're sweating.
We're sweating over a vat of oil, boiling turkeys. Anyways, look, if you want to swing by, or if you want us to swing by with some leftovers, we can make that happen, buddy.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, there he goes. Doc David Chow, our injury specialist. He joins us every single week on the show, every Tuesday, as a matter of fact, to discuss the injuries around the league. Sixscore.com is where you find all that.
We should have asked how you can fix a broken heart after John stood us up.
Dude.
Yeah.
John's a jerk.
Yeah, John Schaefer, known jerk. Okay.
Wow.
844-570-1360. That's 844-570-1360. If you want a pair of tickets to see the Aztecs take on Fresno State senior night, Brady Hoke's final coaching performance on the Mesa with the Tex, you got to call in right now. 844-570-1360. Caller number 4 is going to get those 2 tickets to see the Aztecs this Saturday, kickoff 7:30. Final home game. Okay. Also, want to talk to you about my Toyota. San Diego County Toyota Dealers is where I picked up my 4Runner. This was years ago now. Best decision we've made in terms of a car purchase with our family. Really, really good time driving around in this 4Runner because we all have our space. You ever been in a car and you're just cramped? And you don't look forward to trips anymore. You start thinking about, it's like, do we really want to go up to the pumpkin patch in Carlsbad? We got to be stuck in the car. Well, it's not so with the 4Runner. And it's not just the 4Runner. They got a huge line of SUVs at your San Diego County Toyota dealers. They also have light duty and heavy duty pickup trucks like the Tundra. That's a bigger one. The Tacoma, more light duty there. That's what Fletch drives around in. He's kind of a light duty guy. Anyways, look, the point is, they also have a great selection of cars available. And if you want to go green, they have a huge selection of electrified Beyond Zero lineup at your San Diego County Toyota dealers. I love the Toyota, most reliable car I've ever owned. You've heard me talk about it. My former car broke down all the time. My 4Runner, it kicks to life every single time, and I needed to because these are early wake-ups for the morning show. So get on down to your San Diego County Toyota dealers today.
It is Friendsgiving here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, and we are saving the best for last. Our friend Teddy Leitner joins us next.
This update is presented by the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus. Starting off with Monday Night Football, Eagles took down the Chiefs 21-17. Jalen Hurts running for a pair of touchdowns in a rainy night in Kansas City. Tons of NFL action coming up on Thanksgiving. Packers, Lions, Commanders, Cowboys, Seahawks, Niners. Also in the NFL, Steelers fired their offensive coordinator Matt Canada, and the Jets have benched quarterback Zach Wilson. NBA last night, Clippers dismantling the Spurs 124-99. Warriors beat the Rockets 121-116. We got an in-season tournament game tonight, Lakers Jazz. You can listen to it right here on San Diego Sports 760. This Thanksgiving, Paramount Plus serving up a tasty little NFC East matchup when the Cowboys aim for another big win against rival Commanders. It all kicks off at 4:30 Eastern Time. NFL on CBS streams live on Paramount Plus.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Happy Friendsgiving. Tomorrow is our Thanksgiving Spectacular. It's also a Bar Cart Wednesday. Be brought to you by Keg and Bottle. 10 locations all throughout San Diego County. We're doing some special Thanksgiving drinks. We'll also have some special guests lined up. So make sure you have your free iHeartRadio app downloaded to whatever device you own. That way you can tune in wherever you go. Keep San Diego Sports 760 and Big Rich, TD, and Fletch right in your pocket. And coming up a little bit later on the show today, and actually probably this segment, since we're running out of time, we do still have a family 4-pack of tickets to Legoland, California. Legoland holidays are here, presented by Hallmark Channel. You can celebrate now through January 7th with festive characters, shows, food, snow, and more. You can visit legoland.com/California for details and to get tickets if you don't win them. So like I said, you want to keep it locked in here. We have a very special guest coming on here, a friend of the show. I'm going to say he's a friend of the show. I think he's a friend of San Diego. Uncle Teddy Leitner joining us right now. Uncle Ted, how you doing, man?
I'm good, boys. I'm good. I'm having a lovely time and preparing for the final last day football game and a little bit of a break of 10 days or whatever for basketball and the final football game. And that's about it.
Ted, I just asked you off the air, but I'll ask you on the air. How the hell are these Aztecs basketball team not ranked?
Well, that's easy because voters are lazy voters will just look and see, oh, this team's 3-0. And, they played 3 cupcakes, so they paid $75,000, $100,000 to come in a bye game and play in their place and beat them up. And so things like that happen. Florida Atlantic, who was the darling, even though the Aztecs went past them in the NCAAs, they've had a loss. They're ranked, and the Aztecs are not. USC loses at home to UC Irvine. They're ranked in AP, but not in the coaches poll. And it is. I mean, I know it's silly to get all exercised about it because it's always been that way. But I thought, you know what, Fletch? I thought after going to the NCAAs, after Charles Barkley raving about this club and this organization and this team, rather, and so forth, and the program, and all the other people having such great, oh, wow, the way they play defense, they're so tough, they're so old school, have each other's backs kind of a team. I thought that would change the mindset of the Eastern bias and the blue bias, where Duke and Michigan State or Connecticut can lose 2 games and still be ranked. There is a 2-loss team that's still ranked, and the Aztecs are not. I thought that would change the national perception, and they would be a blue blood. That hasn't happened, and they're not ranked, and that's disappointing to me.
Uncle Teddy, when you think back on your entire career as San Diego State's voice, and you think about the window we're in, Brady Hoke, then Rocky Long, back to Brady Hoke, Steve Fisher during that same time span, handing the reins to Brian Dutcher. Has there ever been a better stretch, 10-year, 15-year, however, wherever we want to start it, has there ever been a better stretch for the 2 most profitable, biggest programs in Aztec history, or is this it? Are we in that window?
We've been in the window. And that's when it's very, again, I've used the word disappointing. It's disappointing when the football coach, who's had a great body of work that he's done in his career, and he should be very proud of that, and I'm sure he is, has one losing season after a 7-6 and a bowl game, but that's not San Diego State. It's not them doing something others are not doing. You can't, in this day and age, in the landscape of what college sports is, you can't have a losing season, certainly not with a $300 million stadium and a debt service to pay there, and a lot of alumni and a lot of fans being very, very disappointed because fans get spoiled. Broadcasters get spoiled. We all get spoiled. We get used to that win. And to answer your question, Big Rich, this is the greatest stretch. And I started my first basketball football game in 1978. And I've been in and out a couple of times when they went to different radio stations and so forth. But this is the best stretch ever for the combination of basketball and football, with Sweet 16s and now the NCAA and 13 straight bowl games. During that time, by the way, UCLA, USC, Stanford, Cal, they did not do that. That's the most in any school in California during that time, and now that streak has ended. And I understand why they have to make a change, because you have to make a change. You can't sit around in this NIL era and let other people take your players and so forth. You've got to get players. It's a very difficult life for athletic directors and coaches and so forth. And while I'm thinking of it, I am so proud of J.D. Wicker for saying, we're not bringing a new coach in here to tell our guys to get in the portal and you better transfer because you're not playing, get out of here, like Deion Sanders did at Colorado. And I was so proud that he said that. We're not like that. We don't do that. He didn't mention Sanders, understood, but I was so proud that that's not how it's done at San Diego State. Your job as a new coach is to come in, and yes, you can bring in some new players like everybody does with the portal, but to coach these guys and make them better after they put their blood and sweat out there in the field for 2, 3, sometimes 4 years. Their families are vested in San Diego State. I really was. I was so proud that JD said that. But this is the greatest stretch of basketball and football. Nothing compares to it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what, Ted? And as we're looking back here, doing the retrospective on that, it's Thanksgiving. We are 48 hours away from Thanksgiving. What are you toasting at the Thanksgiving table? What are you thankful for this year?
What am I thankful for? Oh, come on, guys. I'm 76.
Woo!
I'm 76. I'm overweight. I'm out of shape. I've got several diseases, 3 diseases for $1 was the sale price. So in a long year. So you know what it is? You know what it is? Which I didn't have this attitude when I was younger. When I had my surgery to remove a kidney because they thought it was cancer, and 3 doctors told me, "Hey, trust me, that thing's the size of a tennis ball. It's cancer," and it wasn't. It wasn't. It came back. The biopsy came back negative. But during that time, they had me walking with a walker, which was the cancer wing of the hospital because they thought I had cancer. But God intervened, and thank God for that.
Teddy,
you know what? And no, I just want to get this point. All the tweets and all the calls I had of people who said they were praying for me, and I was so overcome by the fact that obviously something worked, either them or God or a combination thereof. But when I was walking, a guy came out of his room and he said, "Hey, Ted Leitner, I used to watch you on Channel 8, huh?" And I said to him, "How you doing?" And he said, "How am I doing? I woke up this morning." He was a cancer patient. So I learned from that. And to answer your question, guys, I'm thrilled to be alive. I'm thrilled to still be doing San Diego State football, basketball at 76, and very, very thankful. Now let's eat.
Yeah, let's eat.
Yeah, let's eat indeed.
Turkey. The turkey is quickly approaching. It's a Friendsgiving, so no better human being to have on than our friend, and frankly, a friend to all, Uncle Teddy Leitner. Buddy, we appreciate your time this morning. We appreciate everything you've done for this city and all those texts, all those calls that you received in your time of need. They were warranted and they were due to you because you've made a lot of people happy over the years, and we appreciate it, and you continue to this very day. Thanks, Ted.
Thank you, Rich. Anytime, and I'll see you on Saturday.
You got it. Snapdragon Stadium kickoff 7:30. Aztecs Fresno State senior night for the Aztecs football team. Brady Hoke's swan song as the head coach on the Mesa. Should be a lot of fun there, no question about it. Okay, really quick before we run here, want to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is super easy to use. It is my favorite fantasy app. You're going to find out why in just a minute here. But football season's going on. NBA season's going on. No easier way to get in on the action than with Underdog Fantasy and their Pick'em game. Fantasy game, but you can win real money. So Pick'em works this way. You pick between 2 and 5 players, pick whether they'll go higher or lower on their stat totals, and then you can win 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's completely legal in California. A ton of fun to play. You can play along as you're watching your favorite team. Okay, so for me, this is what I do. Did it last night. Set up my lineup. I pick 5 players, typically throw in a $5 bet, right? That's it. And then you just watch the game. So higher, lower on Patrick Mahomes passing yardage total, higher, lower on touchdown receptions for Travis Kelce. Whatever it is that you think you could guess right on, Underdog Fantasy is your app. Build your dream team today. Go to their easy-to-use mobile app or head to underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with promo code XTRA. Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Plus, new customers have a mystery special pick live in their Pick'em lobby. That's underdogfantasy.com or the Underdog Fantasy app. Promo code XTRA. Deposit of $10 or more doubled up to $100. Plus, that special pick in the Pick'em lobby must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Okay, coming up next, golf. You have an opportunity. Don't screw it up. Coming up next, golf has a huge decision to make, and it all circles around just one word, or maybe two. Booty cleavage. That's next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on a Friendsgiving. We were surrounded by friends on this day. Tomorrow will be no different as we welcome in Tony Kanja, owner, operator of Keg and Bottle, 10 locations around San Diego for a Bar Cart Wednesday. A very special presentation of a Bar Cart Friday on a Wednesday. We have to get our last licks in before Thanksgiving, and we will. And it's going to be festive. Just like last week, we had a lot of festive cocktails.
What are your guys' Thanksgiving Day drinking habits?
Typically, I get started pretty early with with turkey prep.
Yeah, like if you're cooking, you should be sipping.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Yeah, without a doubt.
It's Thanksgiving. The first kickoff is at 9:30. You're allowed to crack the first beer at 9:30.
You start cooking early, yeah.
I would say, I probably late morning, I probably around like 11 o'clock hour, I'll probably open a bottle of wine because I feel classy when I'm cooking turkey.
Yeah, wine is fine.
Like totally 11 o'clock. That's when everyone should start.
The crazy thing is Wednesday's the real night, like because everybody has off on Thanksgiving. So as soon as work ends on Wednesday, everybody floods the bars, which it's amateur hours. So be careful on the roads tomorrow night. But before we get there,
we actually just got a sneak peek.
Yeah,
of
we
what
did.
Tomorrow's
Yeah, we
gonna
did.
be.
Yeah, we did. Somebody just tipped their hand as far as the tipples that we're going to be enjoying tomorrow.
Wait, what was that word?
Tipple?
Tipples.
Yeah.
Tipples.
With a T.
Is that an actual word?
We are going to have Bell for Spirits in. We're going to be having a Texas pecan finished bourbon.
God, that sounds so
We're
good.
going to have another small batch bourbon and a rye. So we are going to finish. We're going to finish our holiday run here of shows on bar carts with a strong finish here with Bell for Spirits.
By the way, stay tuned after the show today. We may be live on YouTube. Haven't decided that, but we're definitely going to be live on TikTok at Big Rich TD Fletch. We're going to go pick up some beers. We're going to boil or fry a turkey.
Damn right.
And Rich is going to drink something out of our new friend.
Yeah, absolutely will. It's our show mascot, which, by the way, okay, so we have a lot of things we got to do in a very short order. Okay, first of all, keep listening. In 3 minutes, we're going to tell you how to win those Legoland passes. Okay, so be listening for another 3 minutes here. We'll tell you how to win those Legoland passes. We have a 4-pack of tickets to give away. Good Lord. And that's the next thing we need to get to, which Travis is TD is holding up a picture of Golf's own Paige Sporanic.
Breaking news.
Whoa.
No, this is big.
Okay, wait.
This is enough.
Oh.
The Padres hired a new manager.
Whoa.
Kevin Acee just tweeting out a couple minutes ago, the Padres have chosen their next manager, Mike Schilt.
Mike Schilt.
Wow.
Okay, so
Story coming.
Mike
Wow.
Schilt served as the special advisor to Peter Seidler. And so he's been in this organization and was a front-running candidate for this job. Now, the Padres obviously delayed their timeline with the hiring because Peter's health took a turn for the worse. And obviously the result was his unfortunate passing. But now here we are, just like they said the timeline would be, an announcement at midweek this week. And Mike Schilt is the manager of the San Diego Padres. Okay.
My text with Kevin Acee from this morning makes so much more sense now.
Yeah. A lot more sense.
Yeah.
What happened exactly, though?
Well, because I texted him and asked him if he would join our Friendsgiving show. And he said, I'd love to, but can't. I'm in Colorado with my son working out. And I was like, oh, man, hopefully the Padres don't release something huge and ruin your trip with your son. And he just texted back, ...
Wait a second. Why didn't you tell us that?
Yeah, you didn't give us
Because
that
I knew
info.
if Kevin was working on something, so I texted him. I said, I'm assuming that means they hired a new manager and you want to give us the name early so I can release it on air right now. And he didn't respond.
Why on earth wouldn't you tell us that
why did you
before
leave
the
all
show?
that out?
Because that would have ruined stuff. It's Kevin. He's our buddy. You don't
Oh
wanna-
my
it's
God.
his moment.
I need to teach you.
Kevin Acee had it first, by the way. Mike Schilt is the Padres' new manager. Darren Smith will be reacting to that at noon. John and Jim will spend literally every breathing second of their show on that information.
There's no questioning that.
Mhm.
Okay. If you want to win the Legoland passes, we have a 4-pack of passes, Legoland holidays over at Legoland in Carlsbad. This is what you have to do. Wait until 8:55. Caller number 5 is going to win those Legoland passes. Okay. So here's the deal. And by the way, the number to call at 8:55 is 844-570-1360. That's 844-570-1360. What I want to know from you guys is, was there any managerial candidate that you really wanted to see hired, not just because of their wife or spouse or otherwise, but because
Mullet. Possible mullet.
Well, check out Mike Schilt. Maybe he has a hottie wife we don't know about.
That's highly possible. Okay. All right. I mean, this is the major leagues, guys.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So major leaguers oftentimes have major league hotties. No, I don't know. And listen, this show, we're classy. We're not coveting other people's wives. I mean, we're happily married men. I mean, please. But we do need to get to this Paige Sporanic story. We do. We definitely do.
In other words, this is fine. We'll see how it goes. That's how I feel about it.
No, really, honestly, no one outside of Bruce Bochy probably would have moved the needle here in San Diego. Let's be very honest.
Right.
But Mike Schilt could end up being a great manager. Here's the one thing I will say. The only thing I care about is that he and the front office are in lockstep. Because if we find out that AJ Preller hired his next manager and he can't get along with this guy either, so that means 3 out of the 4 managers you were responsible for hiring, the relationship soured. I mean, Andy Green, that relationship was not going so well when he made his exit. And then Jace Tingler, I mean, it's just in over his head. And it feels like the general public, the fan base, forced his hand. Maybe somebody from inside the organization forced his hand. So Jace Tingler loses his job. But Bob Melvin, that obviously went sideways. If this doesn't go well, I mean, then there is no question. There is no doubt the common denominator is AJ Preller.
We said that with Jace Tingler.
Of course we did.
That was 2 managers ago.
Of course we did. Because it was very clear at that point. So, I mean, every stone's overturned at this point. There is no going back.
Were you guys right in the Darren Smith poll?
That's a can-do, TD.
I know. So, I mean, it was a better pick.
It was actually, yeah.
Is that Mike Schilt's wife?
Yeah, that's Mike Schilt.
Yeah.
Next to his wife.
Everything's working.
All right, I'm in.
You know, we're in.
God,
were you guys,
I just don't.
were you guys
I
right
don't
in the
see the
Darren
mullet,
Smith
though.
envelope?
Wait, say it again?
Were you right in the Darren Smith envelope game?
I was
wrong.
not.
I said Flaherty.
I said Flaherty.
I said Flaherty.
Yeah. I think a lot of people assume that because he's controllable, but he's young. Mike Schilt has managerial experience. Mike Schilt has been a part of this organization I think he probably has some gravitas attached to his name that Flaherty actually definitely does. That Flaherty doesn't have. So it's a higher, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
It's
between Schultz, Benji Gill, Ryan Flaherty, and who's the other? Phil Nevin.
Yep.
Like I felt the exact same about all of them. Maybe the lowest on my power rankings would have been Flaherty. That's the one who I thought they were going to go with because he was lowest on my power rankings.
Yeah.
But the Schilt thing, let's see how it goes.
It's just a bummer. I really wanted a mullet out there.
Yeah, Benji Gill did bring a little bit of that fire, dog.
Yeah,
he really did.
Really wanted that. But Paige Baranek, did we put a bow on that?
So Paul Azinger, he's walking away from the NBC broadcast. Paige Baranek has thrown her hat in the ring as potentially becoming a lead analyst with CBS Golf. I say hire her sight unseen. I don't need to see her resume. I mean, if I'm an executive at NBC, I don't need to see any of her work.
She tweeted her resume. She said, "I'm a woman of the people, and the people want me to replace Paul Azinger. You can't deny I'd bring two big attributes to the table: my personality and golf knowledge."
Those are the two I was thinking of. Oh, and one last thing. Hashtag booty cleavage.
Booty cleavage. Right. Also,
she created something.
She created this
booty cleavage.
We have a poll.
Yeah, we do.
And
we have results.
And it's kind of a hands down winner. 73% of the votes, Buck Norris. Buck Norris is the show mascot, ladies and gentlemen. Buck Norris will be used while deep frying a turkey. Yeah. Woo! Buck Norris. Yeah. It's been a Friendsgiving episode here. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Tomorrow, the Thanksgiving Spectacular. Tony Conjo will be here. What was the spirit we have again? Belfour Spirits. They'll be here. Andrew Baker. We'll be doing some Texas pecan finished bourbon, some small batch bourbon, a rye. It's going to be a Thanksgiving miracle.
I don't know why. I have a feeling tomorrow's going to get rowdy.
Oh, yeah. You can pretty much count on that there. Yeah. Whenever there's whiskey involved.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to all of our listeners. Seriously, our watchers, our roadies, our dogs, our hangers, our bangers. We love you guys so much.
Yeah.
And we are thankful for you. Thank you to everybody who joined the show today. It was a beautiful Friendsgiving.
Screw you, John Schaefer.
Yep.
Okay.
Dude, sucks.
Coming up next, it's Colin Cowherd and the Herd.